Activision devs do not play their own game. It's not your dad doesn't support you.
You should know, you worked at a coffee shop, you stupid bitch.
My name is Casey, and absolutely not fucking Tanner, because my parents don't hate me that much.
Hey, did they have just 8 patches lined up, but they just didn't release them because they were on break? No, you moron kids.
Then we'll, of course, get into it. Change your fucking name and get scammed. He's feeling under the weather.
I probably won't say another word until Stay Humble, so have a good pod, Raz. I'll be here listening.
Got it. We are live. Welcome, boys and girls, to the Dropshot Call of Duty podcast, episode number 236. My name is Casey, also known as Razanon. I am joined, as always, by...
Is it 36? Did you change that, or is that what I had written down?
That's what you wrote down, so I'm assuming it's true.
Yeah. Because we skipped an F last week, and I was like, I thought it was 235, but it's 236. I know I had it right. I was making sure you didn't fuck it up, thinking I was wrong. So, yeah.
Well, introducing Tanner.
Yep.
Introducing Tanner.
Yep.
So, great way to start the podcast, Tanner. Real negative little bitch.
Yeah? Don't change my title.
Someone piss in your latte?
Nope. Just me.
Only you pissed in your latte.
I'm the only one.
Have you ever drank piss before, Tanner?
No.
I haven't either. No.
Should try
but
it.
I would.
Just do it right now and stream.
I would do it.
Leota Machida,
a UFC fighter, or former UFC fighter, used to drink his own piss every morning. It's completely sterile. It's like fine. It's kind of weird, but you'll be fine.
If you do a lot of hard drugs and then pee and then drink it, you get high again?
Depends how well your kidneys work, I guess.
Interesting.
It's a good question.
Try that.
Though.
Someone let us know who's done. I'm sure one of you has done that before.
Someone send us a bunch of, and I'll do it all. Piss into a cup, drink my piss the next day, and see if I get inebriated. Welcome to the show. Today we're not talking about, and we'll edit all of that out. Any of that. We're talking about Call of Duty. And a reminder, or a disclaimer, or an announcement for you new frogs listening. If you are new here, boy, imagine if Tom Henderson was the first episode you listened to, and then this is your next episode, and you're like, oh, this was a mistake. That episode was a fluke. These people are insane. That is true. We are insane.
Yeah.
And you would be correct. In fact, we were on our absolute best behavior with Tom here.
Yeah.
And now we're back on our bullshit, as they say. So if you are new here, we timestamped the episode. If you want to skip this drivel, you can do that. Because I've conveniently timestamped this episode for your convenience. Look in the video description or the show notes. Now, today, a lot to get into, a lot to discuss. We got the MW2 reveal trailer and a lot of the Modern Warfare 2. The embargo was lifted on a lot of MW2 info. Some of which kind of tangentially relates to Warzone 2 as well, that we're going to discuss the details on today. For example, the new gunsmith system, the new map system, some of the things Ace said and all of that. I believe we've included all of those things in our notes today. And the primary focus, of course, of today is going to be MW2. But we do have a little bit to talk about with respect to the current iteration of Warzone and a patch that's happened there. So, this is going to be a good episode, and I'm very excited to get into it. Now, also, we did not do an episode last Thursday, and instead, we released publicly a Patreon episode about sniping in Warzone, which has gotten some feedback. A lot of pushback, really, which I respect. I like it. A lot of people in our Discord have been saying... we've gotten like 5 or 6 people being like, this is a dumb episode or whatever, which is fine. It's fine if you think that.
Really?
And maybe, yeah, then you should read our Discord. And maybe you're right. Hey, I don't know, man. I haven't tried sniping enough. What I can tell you about sniping in Warzone is this. I've played a fair amount of Warzone since these changes. I have not been down to a sniper literally once since then. I've been shot at by a sniper a half a dozen times, maybe. Haven't gotten down to one once, though, actually, in like probably 8 hours of gameplay or so, maybe longer, since that change. So I don't know. Take from that what you will, because when snipers were good, in my opinion, I got sniped every fucking game. So anyway, whatever. That episode came out, and I appreciate all the feedback. And some of you guys with some criticisms of that episode may be right. This is all to say we didn't do a normal news pod last Thursday like we normally would have done. Thanks, Spectrum Internet. Fuck that ISP. So we have some catching up to do this week that we're just not going to do. So the news we were going to cover last Thursday, we're not covering. We might mention it if it's relevant again, but we're not going to go back that far because it doesn't matter. MW2 reveal happened. That's all we all want to hear about anyway, isn't it? So that's what we're going to do. However, I am going to backtrack 2 weeks for acknowledgments, thanks, and announcements, including our new patrons. Welcome to our new gold patrons, Ethan, just Ethan, thanks Ethan, and Animal, just Animal, thanks Animal, our two new gold patrons, much appreciated boys. And thank you. And we also got some new platinum patrons, Shane A17, change it. Welcome aboard, buddy. And Patrick O, whom we've talked about recently, has upgraded from gold to platinum as well. A real king and Chad. He's Irish, by the way.
Patio, huh?
Patrick O, Patio. Patio. That's my brother's middle name, Patrick. Real Mick fucking white pig. My brother is Damian Patrick. I mean, what are we doing, man?
Terrible name.
So white. Such a white pig. Pat, thank you for the upgrade. And Shane as well, thank you for joining up at Platinum. Much appreciated. And we got a couple new Damascus patrons. Blizzy Dismizzy. It's so absurd that I kind of like it. It's like satirically absurd. Which goes, goes all the way around the horseshoe and goes back to being a based name.
Yeah.
Because you're obviously, I hope to God this is a joke. An obvious joke. That's what it seems like to me. What is it, Poe's theory? Or no, that Poe's law is the Nazi thing.
Yikes. Don't tell Glorious.
Poe's law is like every argument on the internet will eventually like lead to someone bringing up Nazis or Hitler. Which is such a dumb law, by the way, because you can say that about literally anything. If I argue with someone about something for long enough, eventually unicorns are going to be brought up. Or penises. Like literally anything that's true. If you can just argue for an infinite amount of time. Duh. But anyways, whatever.
The most shocking thing to me about that is we got a new patron with an optic gaming avatar.
Oh,
so he watches CDL and he still joined the Patreon. That may be a first. Because we don't talk about CDL, and when we do, it's usually nothing positive.
It's usually not super supportive, yeah.
Interesting. So he'll be a 1 month patron for sure.
Yeah, this is he's already refunding it right now, in fact. So welcome aboard, buddy. Marcus S as well. A fine normal name, I guess. Welcome aboard, and Truck or Die. Let's go.
Yeah.
Change it, obviously, of course.
Truck or Die, man. You think he's a
Worst
trucker?
name so far, easily.
We have a lot of truckers in here. Guess they have nothing
sense.
better to do than drive, yeah.
You got to listen to all the podcasts, really. So Truck or Die, change it. Thank you very much, buddy. And longtime listener, friend of the pod, Go Crazy Jax has upgraded to Damascus. Holy shit.
Then got farmed in poker.
And then he upgraded because he wanted to come to the Damascus Hangout Poker Night. He did. And he was literally by orders of magnitude, the worst performing
Was
Texas
he?
Hold'em player. Yes. Oh, easily.
Someone else was really bad that was sitting next to him. Who was that?
Nicole, but she wasn't even close to as bad as Jax. Jax
I'm just
Jack
better than everyone.
like 7 times. It
He
was
did.
fucking hilarious, yeah. So shout
I'm
out to
better at
Jax, friend of the
poker
pod,
than
terrible
Nicole,
poker
Jax,
player.
Everyone.
Play for real money next time, Jax. Welcome aboard, and thank you.
Number 1 loser, Jax. Yeah.
For the upgrade, dude. And last but certainly not least, we got a new annual Damascus patron saving 12, 14, or 16% on his membership. Don't remember the max discount we can provide. Mike B, a new annual Damascus patron. Mike, smart, frugal, financially, fiscally responsible, and a Chad. Thank you, buddy. Very much appreciated. Patreon.com/the Dropshot. 7 bonus episodes a month. It's the best way to support the show. We do monthly hangouts that are fun and exciting. But mainly the bonus episodes is what most people sign up for, and you can get up to 7. So check it out. Patreon.com/the Dropshot. And thanks to all of you. Speaking of Patreon, we recently released a Patreon episode for all of our patrons, and it was about the Tom Henderson episode. That Tom Henderson episode went extremely well. It exceeded our expectations. It exceeded my expectations in every way, which is number 1, the episode itself. I learned more than I thought I would. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I enjoyed doing it more than I thought I would. And it got way more engagement than I thought it would. And way more positive engagement than I thought it would. It was really just a grand slam of an episode. And it was, of course, in fact, award-winning. The committee DM'd me and they were like, do I have to say anything? And then the crying, laughing emoji like 5 times. And I was like, nah, King, I got you.
The Tom Henderson incident.
And then they said, congrats, the Tom Henderson incident, troll despair.
Yeah.
So it was a great episode, and we did a Patreon episode talking more about that. And it was kind of weird. I don't think we had ever done... We've done
roundtable
like that, I think, once.
Breakdown, autopsy things, post those. But yeah, this was maybe only like the second time we've ever done something like that. So we took his body, we took the body of Tom Henderson, and we performed an autopsy on it.
Yeah, we call it an autopsy.
Is that what you titled it?
Why, but yeah, the Tom Henderson
Don't say we,
incident.
you called it that, so that's what we went with. But yeah.
The Tom Henderson autopsy incident. Oh, I don't know if I think I did call the episode that. Yeah, I think I titled it
Tom
that,
Henderson is alive and well as far as we know. We did not kill him if he's dead, but
if he did die, it's because he revealed too much about Activision or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. But that episode was really fun. It was pretty long, and we talked about the ep in more detail. And kind of like things we were surprised about, and then things we had like slept on and wanted to like talk about more, like some extra questions we had, which were genuinely interesting to me. I thought it went very well, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Same. Yeah. Excellent episode. Fantastic. Yeah. And yeah, it was cool doing that autopsy because we broke down, because there's certain things we want to say or like think or talk about when we're doing the interview, but if we did that for every single thing he said, the episode would never end. So it's it's interesting.
Hours.
Yeah, we already took up too much of his time. We told him it would be an hour and a half to 2 hours, and it was, he was falling asleep probably. It was late there. So we already took up too much of his time. So it's nice to go back now and talk about the things without time constraints. And like things that we were surprised or shocked to hear. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a great point. Yeah, exactly. So that went really well, and that's available to all patrons. So if you want to listen to that, if you really liked the Tom Henderson episode and you want kind of more in that vein, patreon.com/the Dropshot. You can join up and listen and get even more Tom Henderson content. So there you go. Now, moving on to our next fun and exciting segment. Do we have anything prepared for this segment, Tanner?
We don't, no. I guess there was one that I deleted that was in there from last week.
Oh, no.
I deleted because I lost interest in it after looking at it again.
I see. What's up, OP Marked?
It was something...
Dick in the chat. What's up, buddy?
Giant cock in the chat.
Yeah, OP marked another man whom we took up far too much of his valuable time.
Yeah, he knows all about that, huh?
Oh, did you listen, OP, to the Tommy Boy pod? Common Dropshot Podcast W. What a fucking Chad, dude.
Yeah, I don't have one prepared. We haven't been getting too many hate ones recently. Because there haven't been like hot takes that people can really disagree with. Like the last talks we've posted have been just mostly Tom talking about stuff on the podcast, so not a whole lot of hot takes. It was something about some kid. It was that PC one. He was like mad about PC players. It was the dumbest thing I'd ever read, but whatever. We'll have one for you on Saturday. I'll make sure we have one for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. So this has been kind of a fucking weird week. So we're kind of, and by the way, another announcement, this episode is going to be fucking just all over the place. We missed last Thursday. We're going to like cover some of that shit, but not all of it. The launch happened. Info's coming out every second. It's weird. This is going to be kind of a frenetic episode, and that's fine. Okay. So there's another announcement for you, but we will continue dumbest TikTok comment of the day segment next time when Tanner.
I'll start arguing with some people on TikTok right now. Get some good ones for you guys.
He'll be sure to post a controversial TikTok or something, and then we'll get some dumb fucking comments. Also, we got some offline donos. I think this is all the ones we missed. If we have missed your offline dono, tell us and we'll include it. But from what I know, Michael, aka Mr. Motorcycle, very generously gave us an offline dono for our new podcast overlay fund. 30 United States absolute dollars. Looking forward to scamming you all on poker again. And Mr. Motorcycle.
Win check? Hand win check?
He did do pretty well. I think he got like second place. But it doesn't even matter because at the end, everyone went all in, and then Chris happened to win the last hand and then called himself the poker champion. And it's like, we weren't playing seriously anymore. We were done.
Yeah.
So it doesn't count.
Yeah, we like got together for a barbecue.
I was the real winner before that. Yeah.
We got together for like a barbecue like the next day or something, and Chris was just bragging to everyone, oh, I won all this money on poker. He was like doing shots. He was like partying, telling everyone he was the poker champion and won all this fake money. I mean, it was ridiculous and embarrassing. I mean, he was just losing his mind, man. I won, by the way.
Well, I won, and I'll edit that out. But anyways, Motorcycle
Leia
did do
won
well
too, according to her.
Well, we'll get into it. Motorcycle, thank you very much for the 30 bones, dude. Really appreciate it. And sorry we didn't say anything sooner, but we didn't have kind of the space to until now. So much appreciated, brother. And also, Sethmate, Joey, donated another amount of money. And he said, quote, Tanner's birthday, get some whiskey that you like. Fuck lag. True.
No, he said fuck Raz and lag.
Donated 40 United States dollars. Let's go. Sethmate with the 40 offline bones. And fuck lag. I totally agree with that.
What did lag
I agree with
do?
everything you said.
Lag's just getting friendly fire here, man.
I don't know. Fuck lag. Fuck lag. I don't know.
Lag's just
the Canadian
in the
cripple,
background
man.
getting hit.
I don't know.
Don't call him that, man.
Well.
Can't call him the Canadian cripple.
I can and I will, and I just did.
Got it.
And I support this message. So, Sethmate, very kind of you, very generous. Again, sorry we couldn't have thanked you earlier, but we're thanking you now. We really appreciate the $40. Very much appreciated, dude. And Motorcycle as well. Very generous, boys. Very kind and not needed, but very much appreciated. So thank both of you. What else do we have here, Tanner?
Ozzy with the offline tier 2 sub to me, and he said, I quote, Raz never acknowledged my offline sub to him, so I'm hoping you do better. You probably will because you are, of course, the better of the two, which is absolutely true. Thank you for the offline tier 2. This was now like a week ago, more than a week ago. Maybe this was supposed to be on the podcast last week that we didn't do because Raz's internet was down all day. So thanks, Ozzy. I really appreciate that, buddy. Raz probably didn't see it because mine didn't show up mine showed up somewhere weird, like only on OBS, not on my. It was something weird. I don't remember what it was.
Twitch is a dog shit website.
It didn't show up both places where the alert should show up, and I don't know why. I'm not really sure. But anyways, thanks for the offline tier 2, King. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So Ozzy, if you sub to me offline, which is an open question, thanks. But hey, I'm not the worst of the two, okay? I'm the better of the two, and you're wrong. But thank you if you did offline sub. I'll check my offline subs more again. I haven't gotten one in so fucking long that I stopped checking. That's the real.
Yeah.
That's the reality. We just don't get offline subs anymore, so I stopped checking.
I've gotten a lot of offline follows since that Tom map. A lot of them.
It's also harder to keep track of, kind of, now. Because I don't know. Doesn't matter. Whatever. But yeah, if you offline sub to me, thanks. I'll start checking again, but much appreciate it. And then last announcement is a public service announcement. So you can pre-order MW 2 now, and you can do it through Steam, through Battle.net, or in Warzone. Okay. As far as I know, the only way that you can certainly get the 10 hours of double XP and 10 hours of double weapon XP is by pre-ordering the Vault Edition in-game in Warzone. I'm not sure if you pre-order through Battle.net, the app, if you get the 20 hours double XP. And I am sure you do not get the 20 hours of double XP if you pre-order through Steam. So the safest course of action, if you're going to pre-order the Vault Edition, is to do it through Warzone. Launch Warzone. The leftmost column is the pre-order button. Buy it there, and then you will guaranteed get the 20 hours of double XP. Do it that way. Probably is going to work through Battle.net, but I'm not sure. Well, I'm getting conflicting reports, and definitely not through Steam. So don't do it through Steam if you're getting the Vault Edition.
Well, that's this image here specifically says that 10 hours double XP plus 10 hours double weapon XP. For the Vault Edition, it says IGS bonus, which is in-game store. So it is just for doing it in the game. Oh, okay, there is a lot of people molding, because like Charlie Intel tweeted out, it's live or something. You can pre-order it through Battle.net. Probably thousands of people pre-ordered it and then realized they didn't get that. So there's people that are like, they should really just change this. Why would it have to be in-game? So maybe they'll go back and give Battle.net people the double XP too. Who knows? But I did it through in-game just to be sure. And the Vault Edition is, what was it, $100? $99.99?
$100.
So. And
then standard 70.
Yeah. And we'll get more into that at the start here when we get to that info. But I would say, if you're going to play the game, just get the Vault Edition. It's not that much more at this point.
Yeah, I always do that. Yeah. So just make sure. Yeah. Make sure you get it in game. So yeah, it is only in game. Don't even get it through Battle.net. If you already got it through Battle.net or Steam, just refund it and then buy it in game. That's what I had to do. But it's 10 hours of double weapon XP, and regular XP actually matters when the game launches. So you'll want those tokens too. I'm unclear if double XP tokens are going to carry over. I suspect they will not, to be honest. So.
Oh, the XP. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I suspect they won't, which makes this more important. So
I feel like the double XP just so you know. Would?
I feel
like it would.
It said the inventories aren't going to carry from Warzone 1 to 2. So that might include double XP shit. Who knows? I don't know.
I don't know. Because they carried over to like Vanguard and Cold War, so who knows?
Anyway,
I'll sue them.
For the jingle.
We'll be forming.
Class action lawsuit.
We'll be starting our class action lawsuit for sure within days of the game launching if we don't get our double XP tokens. So, thanks.
That is correct. Yeah, part of the reason to pre-order the Vault Edition, if you always buy the Season 1 Battle Pass bundle, which is like $20, that is included with the Vault Edition, which means you're really only spending $10 extra by getting the Vault Edition. And for the $10 extra, you get the double XP, you get an operator pack, a Cinder weapon vault, Oh, and you get 50 tier skips instead of 20. So yeah, I think the Vault Edition's worth it if you get the Battle Pass bundles on each season. If you don't, then maybe it's not worth it. That's what I would say. All right, welcome to the show. Today, lots to discuss, a lot of fun and exciting info to get into. And we're going to start with some patch notes to actual Warzone, current Warzone. This is on June 2nd. They added that LTM champion of Caldera. We talked about this briefly. There are 150 players. It's solos. You instantly drop in with your loadout, and it is a single continuously closing circle. That is how that mode is played. I played one match of it. I had unexperience. Tanner played one match or more of it, and also had unexperience. What were your thoughts on this mode?
It's fun early on because it's like it's hot dropping and everyone's just fighting with their loadout guns right away. So that's cool. You can kill people out of the air right away with your Nazi 41 or your Blixen or whatever. So that's fun. But then it quickly, like mid to late game, it's just like a disaster. I don't remember exactly how. So you get one free respawn, right? And then the next time you have to, like, I guess you don't respawn. I think you just get self-res or something, don't you? I don't remember how it worked. I didn't play it enough to pay attention to it. But all I know is you get dropped on by people constantly. So you'll finish killing 2 people. You'll be reloading. There will be 4 guys in the air above you fighting with their assault rifles. They'll all land and they'll all shoot at you instead of each other, and then you'll be dead. So it's a lot more fun and exciting than regular solos, because regular solos is terrible and slow-paced and boring. But it's, I don't know. Doesn't feel like a BR. It's an LTM. If you like solos, you'll have fun with it, I'm sure. But yeah.
Yeah. I think that being dropped on and shot out of the air is like probably the biggest problem. I only played once, and that happened to me like once. I pissed on the guy, but I mean, if one other guy was there, I was dead. And this is, again, this can be so easily solved by just not letting people shoot guns in the air. I don't think there's a reason you should be able to do that. It doesn't add anything to the game. Oh no, I can't pistol someone out of the air anymore. Who cares?
Burgerbot.
That's worth it to not get ballooned on and killed because there's no audio in this fucking game. And there's no notification you're getting fucking descended upon in this fucking game. This is just another example of what would be helped if you couldn't shoot people in the air. Or at least, like, if you're higher than, like, I don't know, 20 meters off of the ground or something. I don't know. Anyway, either way.
I strongly disagree with that, for the record. It'd make balloons utterly useless, and then it would go back to Caldera being boring because people wouldn't take them because they'd get shot out of the air constantly.
How would it make balloons useless?
How often?
Move fast. What do you mean? And I could balloon on people. I just wouldn't balloon directly on top of them. I'd balloon 50 meters north of them to a rock.
Got it.
It would be.
You get totally kills fun. A lot out of the air, though. That's what I'm saying. If you couldn't do that, that's going to slow things down, and then people are going to not land on people as often as they would, and there'd be less exciting fights as there was, because you'd be scared to do that. You wouldn't do that.
I don't think getting ballooned on and dying is exciting for me.
I'm saying the person doing the ballooning.
Yeah, I know you are, but it's how many times have we died this way?
I strongly disagree with this statement, for the record. We'll move on.
Whatever.
I think it's the dumbest thing you've ever said, yeah.
I think saying balloons would be useless if you can't shoot people out of the air is the dumbest thing you've said. But
every time as a quad we balloon, we get a down in the air. Every single time.
I know.
And then we land on the people. You would just get shot out of the air and just be dead. You can't do that. It would completely change it.
Somewhere you would balloon not right on top of them. That's all you'd have to do.
Got it.
So simple.
Got it.
Anyways, moving on. Burgerbot. Recon drone field upgrades have been removed from the underground transit system loot. Kind of random, but they're always in there, or they used to be.
Well, that was Ted's tip. Ted did that on purpose. Ted said that on Twitter. Yeah, he said that on Twitter. That was his tip, was when you fast travel, use the recon to scout out the area before going up.
I see.
Oh. I guess people are using the strat too often. I don't know, man.
Yeah, why would they take that
Ted's
out?
OP recon drone strat.
You did that once, actually. I remember.
I didn't. Someone else did.
One.
We were playing together. What was it? Me? No, I think someone else did it.
You joked about doing it. I don't know.
And then I think someone actually grabbed it and did it. We're like, oh, let's do it. And then it actually worked though, because there was a team up there somewhere. I remember someone did do that.
That's funny. Yeah. Anyway, you can't anymore. And then reduce the spawn rate of radar jammer field upgrade on the island. I played some Rebirth yesterday and the day before, and I think I saw myself like 2 radar jammers, but also there was a radar jammer every single game, multiple, in fact, by other people that were put down. And I agree with the TikTokers that were malding about this, because on Rebirth, radar jammers are so toxic in Cancer and dog shit. Yeah, they're really shit. They need to have a smaller radius on Rebirth.
And I thought they said they were doing that, and they still haven't. I thought one of the devs replied to someone on Twitter and said they are doing that. Maybe he just meant they were lowering the spawn rate. So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they probably said, and if that's all they're doing, that's the worst way to fix it. Just make the radius smaller. It's not hard. You could even like duplicate the item ID if you're a dev, and then just name it like mini. Or just name it the same thing. Just have all the small ones there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like you have to make
can't be too difficult for them to implement.
It really can't be too difficult.
But again, like you said, I think yesterday when we played Rebirth for a few hours, I only saw maybe 2 or 3 radar jammers deployed. I never saw one myself to loot, but I saw some on the map that had been deployed.
So either way. Next, perks Serpentine. Updated description text to better represent behavior. So we got our answer now on how Serpentine works, and what Tanner was saying about what others were speculating is correct. Serpentine reduces 20% of incoming damage to base player health from bullets, fire, and explosives. So that makes Serpentine a lot worse than its original description.
A lot worse.
However, maybe still worth using. But now the description actually matches up with... So basically, when the icon was showing up was accurate. That is when it was actually doing something. It doesn't take 20% less damage when you have plates.
Yeah, and so
of your plates.
J-God did a video kind of testing. I think what he gathered was, at the most, on any gun in the game, it seems this only increases the time to kill by 2 shots, and that's for very low fire rate guns. So if you have like a BAR with a 50 cal mag, and like a suppressor, and your fire rate's like 300 rounds per minute or something atrocious, that's going to be like a 2-shot difference, which is pretty big. That is slowing down the time to kill when you already have a terrible fire rate. But on something that's like a super high fire rate, like a STG cal down, a Cooper, an auto, it's like a 1 bullet difference. So at sometimes like it could be 2.
If it was less damage per bullet.
Wouldn't it be more bullets? I don't know. I'm trying to think.
I get I think you maybe are talking about like TTK. Like
I don't remember.
It would be different with the auto or something.
It wasn't. Regardless, like what J-God ended up saying was, it's not very good. It's usually probably not actually worth running. It's not really helping you that much at all, ever. So
yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that's kind of what you were saying when we were speculating. If it works this way, is it good? I probably agree. But then it's like, what blue perk do you run? Is Combat Scout bugged, by the way? Because I still have like not been shot by Combat Scout
I swear, I think they stopped pinging. They stopped that like ping notification that you get if you get hit by Combat Scout and don't have cold-blooded. I think they removed it.
They might have, because I don't think I've seen it.
I know. And there's no way no one's running Combat Scout.
Yeah. I think there's something going on.
If you're not running Combat Scout then on Caldera, then I don't know. You're just fucking wrong, frankly.
You're just wrong.
Almost everyone should be running it.
It's so good. But anyway. Okay, so there you go. Restock. Recharge time increased to 30 seconds, up from 25 seconds, which is better. I don't know if it's enough, but it's better.
Yeah.
And then this was interesting too. Throwing knife. Upper torso damage is 200 instead of 300. So you can no longer get a 1-shot kill on someone full plates in Caldera or Rebirth if you throw a knife at their upper torso. You still can at their head, but not at their upper torso anymore. Which I think is probably fine. Because throwing knives, because doing 200 damage instantly is still really fucking good. I actually got a kill this way on the island 2 days ago. I killed some guy. His teammate was chasing me and I was weak for a solid 10 seconds, like 10 Mississippis. I was just running in the building, closing doors behind me and trying to plate. And he would get like one shot. I'd turn the corner, close another door. And eventually I was full plates and I made it through a door. I closed it and I instantly turned around and just held my knife up. And then as soon as he came through, because he's a little ape, I fucking threw that thing, instantly cracked him. And I was like, I thought I was going to down there, but it was post this patch. So maybe I did hit upper torso and it didn't matter. But he was so weak by then. He had 100 health. I just shot him and killed him, and he was furious in the death comp.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, he said some not very nice things to me. So they're still good, but I think this is probably actually a good change, honestly.
I don't know. It's just a weird thing to change because they did one shot down early Caldera, and people just didn't use them. And then now they change it back with the health, and it does one shot down again. Literally, I saw one person even talk about this, and it was Iceman Isaac made a tweet how he was mad about it. That's the only person I saw complain about this, and then like the next week they changed it back. I'm like, really? I don't know. It is fun getting. He's not. It is fun getting like downs with it, but I don't know. The amount of times you were dying to that was not enough.
I have never once died at full health to a throwing knife in this game. In Warzone. Literally never happened either way.
Probably happened because Ted fast traveled, used a recon drone, didn't see anyone, so he starts walking up the ladder, and then someone throwing knives him. So he says, "Oi, we got to change that, bruv," and then they change it the next day.
That's probably what happened. I think you're right.
Oh, damn it, Ted, man. Come on.
So anyways, some bug fixes, some Blixen fixes. So the Blixen works now. It works well now, by the way.
Very well, yeah. Excellent gun.
That's kind of it. And then some weapon changes. Assault Rifle Alpha, which I believe is the STG for Vanguard. Max damage range. Say again?
The Stig, yeah, the STG.
Yeah, okay. Max damage range 27.9 from 30.1. Fairly big, but not that big. Max damage range doesn't matter that much. The NZ was nerfed.
No.
A little bit. I think. There were a lot of changes to the NZ. But it's still the best gun in the game right now. It's still the most meta AR right now.
No, this is when they buffed it. They basically changed it, but it's a lot better.
Oh, it's a buff. Yeah, you're right. Because the biggest damage 34 up from 32. Yeah, that's a huge buff.
Recoil deviation decreased, recoil intensity decreased, muzzle velocity increased. On the meta magazine, which is the 50 round mag, it's the only 50 round mag there is. Damage penalty has been removed. Why was there a damage penalty for that mag? Oh, because it's the cal down, huh?
Cal down, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's that and the STG are like the top two ARs that people are using right now. The STG is still used more, but the NZ's better, close to medium range for sure. If you can mix a headshot in, it kills a lot faster than STG. Worse bullet velocity though, ultimately worse at long distances, harder to use than like a cal down STG. But you can kill faster with it for sure.
Yeah, I like it better now too. I tried it more. Yeah. It's really good. So yeah, that I think that's what most people are using too. And then the Blixen was nerfed, but not enough. It's still really good. It's still easily the best SMG in the game right now.
Yeah.
So there you go. All right. And that's it. Now on to news and upcoming changes.
Dare we say that?
The meat and potatoes of this absolute broadcast, what we've all been waiting for. Timestampers,
sledgehammer patch.
Timestamp, and that's the first thing they're listening to. Welcome, podcast listeners, to the Dropshot Call of Duty Podcast, episode 236. Now we're getting into the fun stuff. Modern Warfare 2, the absolute trailer has dropped. The embargo has been lifted on some things, and there's a lot to discuss. Tanner, start us off, buddy.
Wow. Getting right into it, huh? All right.
Right into it, dude.
Well, okay. Let's see if this works. Let's give this a little test. It does. Let's see if we can expand this.
Holy shit, Tanner figured out how to stream.
Okay, that's as far as it goes. We'll zoom in. Anyways, here's the Vault Edition. I mostly just wanted to show and talk about one item on here. So it comes with items, other shit, battle. By the way, 50 tier skips on the Vault Edition. So if we're assuming it's a normal 100 tier, you're halfway through the battle pass within the first minute.
That's like a that's a battle pass bundle that's $30 instead of $20, but you get 50 skips instead of 20 skips.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Okay, so one item on here you get with a vault. It says FJX Cinder First Ever Weapon Vault. And what we're seeing here, if you're watching the video, FJX, I assume, is probably the name of this gun.
Yes.
I guess that's what they're calling it. It's an M4. That's what it is. It's a variant of an M4. So what we're seeing is the gun laid out on a soft little pad here, and it's got like some red on it, some nice little red details and whatnot on the grip, the barrel, the hand grip, the stock.
Red accents.
And every other attachment, all the other grips, the stocks, the barrels, the receiver even, changes the look of the gun. So it's like the grip is different looking because it's a different grip you can put on, say, one of them stippled or something. But they all contain the red theme, no matter which part you put on. So you changed the stock on it. It's a different looking stock, but it still has red lines and shit on it. So basically what everyone has always complained about when you buy bundles in the Call of Duty store is once you change one attachment, the gun looks terrible. Because if you change like the main attachment that was giving the gun essentially that camo pattern or that design pattern, that look, it would remove it completely because it wouldn't transfer over to the other items. So what we're assuming, and we've actually got a little bit of confirmation now from a dev, Joel Emsley, who is the art director at Infinity Ward, replied.
Of the pod, by the way, big fan of Joel Emsley.
Yeah, he replied to someone on Twitter regarding this, and he said this is an extremely rare style of weapon blueprint categories. More details to come. So based on that, I'm assuming we're going to get these type of blueprints in the store. They're going to be more expensive, but it'll work for whatever attachments you put on it. So instead of them just making it the same price and doing that for every blueprint, no, they're going to charge you more money to get these blueprints, but you're going to keep the items on there, which I don't really care too much about. That's fine with me, I guess, as long as they're not trying to charge $30 for this weapon bundle or something, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's their way of doing this. And when you think about it, I do get it, because if they were doing that for every bundle they put out, that's a shitload of design they have to do for every possible attachment. When you really think about it, that is a ton of work for them. So the fact that they would charge more for this, completely understandable. That's fine. I'm just glad that something like this will be in the game, even if it costs more. So obviously this won't be every single blueprint. As you said, it's a special style, a rare style. So maybe even there will be unlocks for some of these. Rare style of weapon blueprint category. So they'll probably be in the store and they'll be unlocked. So that's cool. I'm excited for that. I would buy these even if they cost a little bit more. I mean, I have 30,000 COD points, so I would buy anything.
Yeah, hopefully they fix that so you can give me 29,000 of them. Yeah, I think you're correct. That seems pretty clear based on the image and on that tweet. So like right now, if I bought like I don't know, let's say I bought an NZ41 blueprint called the cum checkpoint blueprint.
Don't call it
it that. It would be like a white NZ41 with 10 attachments. And the blueprint camo would apply to the gun itself and all of the 10 attachments that they chose. So let's say they chose a Carver foregrip. Okay, but I want to change to a hand stop. Well, if I want to use that blueprint and use a hand stop, the hand stop will not have the cum checkpoint camo on it anymore because that was not part of the blueprint. But if it was an NZ41 Vault Edition blueprint, then the cum checkpoint Vault Edition blueprint, every single attachment possible would also have that theme. That's cool. I like that. Because the gunsmith gurus don't know how to build meta setups. And even if they do,
they have recently. They figured it out.
Yeah, even if they do, though, they buff and nerf attachments too. So it would be nice to have a Vault Edition blueprint if you like that look, so that when they nerf the hand stop and a different attachment becomes meta, you can still use a different attachment and keep the unified theme of the gun. It's a good idea, and I like it. It is, however, different than what we were speculating Vault Edition meant. Because we were thinking, oh, Vault DMZ stash. But that seems to not be the case, at least with respect to this Vault thing you get.
Correct.
It's looking like the weapon blueprint thing, which is cool, though. I'm down with this. That's fine. But just wanted to point that out as well. Yeah. But I'm a fan. This is cool. It's a good idea.
Yeah, because I was one of those people in MDO 2019, too, always molding when it like changed the look of your gun. But really, sit there and think about it. When a gun has like 40, 50 attachments, them making a design on every single one of those, that is a lot of time spent on the artwork. So
yeah, true.
I don't blame them for not doing that. I just wish they would have said that from the start. Oh, fuck no, we're not. They should have just said, oh, of course we're not doing that. That's way too much work for the price you guys pay for these bundles. Fuck you. But they just, it was Ashton in charge, so she just ignored everyone.
Didn't say anything, yeah.
And of course, so the game will be available last gen, current gen PC, Steam, and Battle.net. And everybody talked about pre-order in-game on PC for the extra bonus there.
Or on console.
Or on console, yeah. It just has to be in-game. You can't cross-launch Vanguard anymore. All you can do is play MDub multiplayer Warzone or pre-order when you launch Warzone. Can't cross-launch anymore. And you probably never will be able to again, by the way. They're never putting Vanguard back on there.
Yeah. Some of this is kind of big. It's available on last gen. We got confirmation of that, which I think is insane, but we'll see.
The multiplayer, that's obvious. They weren't going to make that only for current gen. The Warzone thing's different.
Actually, that's a good point. Did they confirm that Warzone 2 is going to be last gen also?
Yes, we were going to get into that. Yep.
Okay, so we'll get into that more. And then Steam as well. Some people are very excited about this. I don't know why. I don't care. I mean, Battle.net is...
People think it means modding tools are coming back, which you're insane if you think Activision is going to give people access to mod tools in 2022. Yeah, they haven't done that for years. They're not going to bring it back.
There you go. So yeah, I don't know.
And then moving on here. So basically, Charlie Intel put just a shitload of news out yesterday after this. They could tell you about everything. Within the minute the trailer dropped, they had 80 tweets out already. So we're just going to start kind of going through these one by one. The order is going to be a disaster. They tweeted everything in a weird order. I tried to put it together that made sense, but it's not going to, so stay mad. So internally, they're calling Modern Warfare 2 COD 2.0. And the reason for this is Call of Duty now is being built on a unified engine technology, connected gameplay, and ensuring Warzone 2 feels like an extension of their Modern Warfare 2 universe. So basically, Treyarch's next game, Sledgehammer's next game, if they ever get one, they're all using the same engine to build the titles, which we really probably don't understand what that means thoroughly. It's not, I don't think that means a Treyarch game is going to feel like a iDub game. If that's the case, it makes no sense for the studios to even have their own game. They may as well all just design the games together. So they'll still have their own feel, but it's all going to be on the same engine. So I think basically one thing that can ensure is that Cold War, or Treyarch's next game won't look like it was designed in 2008 anymore. It'll at least have better graphics, maybe more fluid animations and
integrations into Warzone will be better when the next game comes out.
So that's all good. Seamless integrations and transitions for sure.
Yeah. So this is all shit we I feel like they already had confirmed this, but there's just a little more detail, I guess, on that.
Yeah.
So starting on October 28th, MW 2 is scheduled for release on PS5, PS4, Xbox XS, One, PC, Battle.net, and PC Steam. Warzone 2.0 is scheduled for release later this year on the same platforms. Wow. So, two big confirmations there. Number one, Warzone 2.0, as we mentioned, will be available for last-gen consoles. And you still probably won't have an FOV slider, by the way. Maybe you will, but
it's up in the air.
Strongly doubt it. And also, Warzone 2.0 is coming out this year, as Tom Henderson predicted. Wow. So, when this year? Probably exactly when Tom said, December. That would be my guess. And that is interesting. We finally got confirmation. We didn't know this for sure when we had Tom on, and now we do know this for sure. And I'm excited about that, because the sooner I can get my grubby little fat hands on Warzone 2, the better. So I'm thrilled about this, and I'm hoping early December. That's my hope. And I would also say it's my guess. What do you think? What are your thoughts on all of this?
I would imagine early December as well. Yeah, Tom was right. Most people have not been saying that. And even after we had that episode, I don't know if other people started hearing that. I saw some other leakers talking about it on Twitter. They said Warzone is not coming out this year. They said something is happening and coming in December, but it's not Warzone. Maybe they were talking about DMZ or something. And then it's funny, the next day, Charlie Intel's first tweet is breaking Warzone 2 confirmed to be launching this year.
And this is why we trust some leakers, but not others, isn't it, chat?
And they were so confident it's not coming out this year. No,
someone on the TL listened to our podcast, a prominent leaker, and said Warzone 2 is not releasing this year. And then the next day, oops. Hey, we told you which leakers to trust. That's why we had Tom on and not fucking, isn't it? Because we trust people for good reasons. And here is example number one. One leaker we trust said one thing. Another leaker we don't trust said not that thing, the opposite of that thing, the negation of that thing. And the leaker we trust is right. Shocking.
I know.
So that is deeply amusing. I wonder if that tweet is still up. But
yeah, good question, actually. I don't know.
Just once again, we're like we said on our last episode, trust Tom as a leaker. That's about it. Because if he says something, it's because he's very confident in it, and he has a brain, and he'll wait to talk about things until he is confident. So shocking. Hey, shocking. Wow.
One of them already did the old throw a bunch of shit at the wall and hope it sticks tweet. This person was one of them that was wrong about the date and said it's not coming out in December, by the way, the day before it was announced. Once the reveal was public, they made this tweet about all the things they had leaked that were correct, and they did a checklist, green check marks next to this confirmed. And it's why don't you make a tweet that's 12 tweets long of everything you leaked that was wrong? It's
with a bunch of red X's. Yeah.
Like you said to even Tom on the pod, you can tweet 20 things a day and one of them be right, and that's all you're going to bring up again and say, see, I was right. Told you. Oh,
classic.
I wasn't wrong about 19 things that day. What are you talking about? Just classic dumb shit immature leaker kids.
The classic COD
leaker kid right there. Summed up.
That's fucking hilarious. So yeah, anyway, Tom's a Chad based king. And more importantly, Warzone 2 is coming out this year. I'm excited. That's soon, dude. That's soon. In fewer than 6 months, probably, we will be attempting to launch Warzone 2 with no success, because the servers are going to be on fire. Yeah. Very good to hear.
Next thing up, Charlie Intel did confirm, or Activision confirmed, inventories will be reset for Warzone 2. Warzone 2 will feature new Modern Warfare 2 content and systems with brand new progression and inventories. It's interesting, by the way, out of all their tweets yesterday, this was the most liked thing. And I'm like, why is this? We've been saying that. I've been saying that. Of course your skins aren't going to transfer over. No, they've said that it's a whole new game. I don't know why everyone was so shocked about this specifically. It's weird, So I don't know what's going on there, but
I think people are thank God I have my hard drive back.
Yeah, you think maybe. But
actually, yeah.
Probably it's probably the console kids liking that, huh?
Yeah, I would like it.
That's
if
true.
I
didn't have a 2 terabyte M.2 SSD, yeah.
Yeah. So there we go.
External hard drives, terabytes and terabytes.
It is confirmed none of that shit's transferring over, which, Warzone 1 is staying live. So that's how they can kind of get around with you not losing your items, because it'll still be available on Warzone 1, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So this is great. I'm a big fan of this. And I will for sure take it. So also, again, like Tom said, Activision says today's Warzone experience will still be available, but remain separate. And then here's a quote from Activision. Today's Warzone will continue on a separate experience that will include a continuation of player progression and inventories within that Warzone experience. So they'll probably still release Warzone 1 shit. You're still going to be able to keep all your bundles if you want and play Warzone 1 if you want. And that's not that surprising. Tom told us this. I believe him, and now we know it's true. Not much really for me to say on this topic, other than I cannot wait to, with alacrity, uninstall Warzone from my system and never play it again when Warzone 2 comes out.
What if Warzone 2 is a flop?
It won't be.
You don't think?
No.
Okay. So again,
now, wake me later.
Activision confirmed Warzone will be releasing this year, blah, blah. And this is so... I don't know if this part was actually confirmed. So it's confirmed that Modern Warfare 2 is coming to last gen. I don't know if this has been confirmed by like Charlie Intel, but Tom tweeted out yesterday during all this reveal, Warzone 2 is coming to past generation consoles. Maybe Charlie Intel did say something, because I think they talked about it later in the day, actually. But I think Tom was the first one to say that. Because I think everything else they had been confirming for MDub only, right?
Well,
yeah, pretty much.
One of those Charlie tweets said Warzone 2 is going to release.
Oh, yeah, later this year on the same platforms. Yeah, you're right.
That was after Tom tweeted this.
That was.
An hour after.
So, yeah, and I'd seen people mad about this. I get it. If they have to hold back graphical shit because of last-gen consoles, for everyone else, that really, really, really sucks. And no, you're not getting an FOV slider if you're on last-gen console. Probably not. On the newer-gen consoles, I'm sure they're building it so it'll be a separate launcher, however you want to call it, and they maybe will have an FOV slider. I would imagine they probably will, actually.
I think they will.
New consoles should have an FOV slider. It's not confirmed. It is confirmed for multiplayer, though. They're going to have it. But so... Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say, Benji. So according to... I think it was Charlie Intel said it, but basically, like, in total, like, over 100 million PS4s were sold. And as of now, PS5s, it's still like less than 20 million have been sold. So there's still a lot of people playing Warzone. And supposedly, still the largest player base of Warzone is people on last-gen consoles.
Wow.
So not at all that surprising that Warzone 2 is going to still be on last-gen consoles.
Yeah, that does make a lot more sense, yeah.
Because you got to think how many like casuals there are that play an hour, 2 hours a week, you know? That are just on their last-gen console. They're not going to buy a PC. They're not going to even pay money for a new...
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I mean, why would you even buy a new console when you don't get an FOV slider anyways? It's pointless for Call of Duty, actually, if you play Warzone 1 hour a week.
Well,
so that makes a lot of
120 hertz
sense.
would be good.
Yeah, that didn't work for the first 6 months, but
that's also true.
It does work now. You are right.
Yeah.
But so yeah, not surprising.
Yeah, not surprising. I think this is probably fine, and I don't think releasing Warzone 2 and allowing last-gen consoles to play it will hinder the performance or features that those of us on PC and on next-gen consoles will get, in the same way that PC has FOV slider now and console doesn't. So they obviously are capable of adding extra features and performance based on what platform the user is using for Warzone 1. There's no reason to think they won't be able to do that for Warzone 2, which I think they will. So I don't think allowing past-gen consoles to play is going to negatively impact those of us on PC or next-gen console. I think it's going to be fine. And I think the experience is going to be the same for those of us on these next-gen platforms, whether or not you can play on past-gen consoles. I think it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
So this is good.
Uh-huh.
In that case, it's good because it's just more players.
Yeah, true. Way more players. That's good. Next thing up here, another not surprising but confirmed. Ricochet Anti-Cheat will be available in MDub 2 and Warzone 2 from day one when they both launch. And they did specifically mention Modern Warfare and Warzone will not launch the same day. So that's what we guessed as well. I would actually like about like a month, and then that would line up with the game with Warzone releasing late November, early December, which would be solid. If I have 1 month to like
that's perfect.
Really level up guns and stuff, especially if the multiplayer is fun to play. Ground War on launch.
Ground War on launch would be sick. Yeah.
Yeah. Then I think that's enough time. So we will see. But yeah, there's someone in our chat had been asking about that last stream. Like, oh, what if there's no anti-cheat in the game? Like, well, they designed this obviously for the future. They're not going to spend a year or more designing an anti-cheat that then isn't going to work for their next game. So this will work for all future COD titles. Whenever Treyarch designs their next game in 2024 that releases, it'll also have Ricochet anti-cheat.
Correct, 100%. And it's going to keep getting better and better. We haven't seen many rage hackers. I haven't seen a rage hacker in a long time. Months.
Rage hackers, no. I haven't seen an obvious aimbotter in it. Well, did we see one like last week? Maybe I didn't.
Probably still a ton of people walling, but
yeah, that's for sure possible.
But that's always been true, so it's not like the situation's worse than it used to be.
Exactly. Modern Warfare will have an open beta later this year. No dates yet. Pre-orders get early access, so if you pre-order, you get that. And also PS5 and PS4 will get like the 1 day or like the early weekend access that only they get to play or something.
Probably, yeah.
My guess is we get the beta probably early October. That's kind of close to the release of the game, though. If the game comes out the 28th, we may even see the beta late September, honestly, like the last 2 weekends of September. Because I feel like usually it's about a month before the game's launch. So if they do it in October,
yeah, I think you're right.
That you're pushing 2-3 weeks till the game is launched. So probably late September, I would imagine we're getting a beta for this video game. What else here? Modern Warfare 2 will also have an incredible post-release calendar set to include a massive amount of free post-launch content drops featuring new maps, modes, and blockbuster special events that can't be missed. If the blockbuster event is anything like the Operation Monarch event, I don't care.
Yeah.
They say Modern Warfare 2 though. That's kind of weird. Not Warzone. Maybe they're just kind of grouping them together and saying MW 2.
I feel like the reason they say blockbuster is because they're going to have some other movie they're making a deal with.
Oh, for sure.
And yeah, this doesn't matter to me at all. So I actually learned nothing from this. You know, I don't know.
Is there another Sicario movie coming out?
What is that?
You never seen Sicario? Holy shit, you need to watch Sicario.
No.
So it's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like CIA or something doing with like drug operations in Mexico. Basically, they go down there, kill a bunch of people. But anyways, the trailer,
a Spanish word. Okay.
Yeah. So the trailer used, I think, the music from Sicario. I think a Sicario 3 is supposed to come out. There is a Mexican Special Forces operator, Black Helicopter, some sort of Sicario tie-in with MW next year, maybe. Yeah, those are Sicario is a fucking
that sounds likely
excellent movie. And Jake is right. They did say they took a lot of inspiration for MW 2 from Sicario. I bet that's it.
Sicario is Spanish for hitman, by the way.
It is.
I just looked it up.
Seriously, a top movie. Super exciting. Crazy. You need to see that shit.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good Black Helicopters. I think you might be onto something there.
Yeah.
I think you absolutely might be onto something there. That's cool, I guess. The special event in and of itself, not really, but the Sicario theme is cool. Which
There's like a Sicario operator, dude. Is there a third one? Yeah, so there is a third one. I don't know when it's coming out though. That'd be a really dope crossover though. Actually.
It would make sense for the theme of the game too, like drug cartels and shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
There we go. We figured it out. That's the Black Helicopter Sicario.
Hey, here's a leak for you. Here's another leak for you. Trust Tom and us. Here's a leak. Sicario crossover coming soon.
Yeah. Well,
you
not
heard
soon.
it here first.
In a year or so. But
well, in a year or so, yeah. That's what I said. So yeah. Yeah, cool. I'll take it.
Cool. Where were we here? Infinity Ward mentioned they spent a lot of time building upon and enhancing systems in MW 2, from movement to gunplay and more, to ensure the game felt new and different and not like an expansion pack of the 2019 game. Okay.
So this includes, I don't know if you've written this down anywhere, Tanner, but this includes things like we are getting the ability to slide and dolphin dive. So dolphin diving is coming back. That's been confirmed.
Yeah.
In addition to sliding, which I think is cool. And the way it'll work on a controller is like if you tap B while sprinting, you'll slide. And if you hold it, you'll dolphin dive. I like this. More choice. As long as you're not taking away sliding, I like dolphin diving. So that's cool. I don't know how useful it'll be, but you'll have the option. And they also have this thing where you can like ledge hang and like shoot while you're hanging on a ledge, which is interesting. Kind of unclear what that means, because they've said things like this, and I'm not sure exactly on specifics what that entails, but that's another new feature. And then are we going to talk about swimming? Is that written down anywhere here?
Well, Charlie Intel article that's going to cover the movement once we get through these like next few tweets. Yeah.
Got it.
So we'll get more into that.
But yeah, so from movement to gunplay and more to ensure the game felt new and different and not like an expansion pack to the 2019 game. This is, of course, what they're going to say.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to feel very similar to the 2019 game in terms of movement and gunplay. And if it does, that's a good thing, because those are the good aspects of MDub 2019.
Yeah.
Gunplay's really good. Movement's really good as well. Attack sprinting's coming back. No word on slide cancel before anyone gets into that. So, yeah, of course they're going to say they're expanding on it or whatever. And that's good. I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Movement and gunplay, two best things about MDub. And
100%. Yeah.
Just imagine MDub too, if they slowed down the time to kill a little bit in this game. Ooh, that would be fucking solid. And I feel like they will, based on them increasing health in Warzone. Even Vanguard base having a little bit slower time to kill, technically, I think. But then all the attachments can make some of the guns super busted. But it's Vanguard. And then Cold War having a slower time to kill. So I would not be surprised if this game equates to like an extra bullet or two to kill people. That would be ideal.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Next thing here, they said, in addition, expect a lot more intel on a new sandbox mode in the brand new Warzone play space as we get closer to launch. So this sandbox mode sounds like what they're referring to as the DMZ. So the DMZ hasn't publicly been announced. They've just called it this. They've never called anything the DMZ. They haven't really teased it other than saying this. So maybe everyone's just been wrong and there's not a DMZ mode. Who knows? But
because Tarkov-like is not sandbox.
It's not, unless they just describe it poorly. That's not what I refer to as sandbox, but I can see someone reaching and calling it a sandbox. It's like you can do whatever you want, do certain missions, you can just go kill people. It's sandbox-esque, but that, you know.
Yeah, maybe.
When we were growing up playing video games, sandbox modes were not like that at all. It was like shit like Gary's mod, where you can like design a bunch of things and literally make whatever you want inside of a game. That's what I think of when I hear sandbox mode, but I think that's kind of changed. So maybe that's still what they're referring to. I'm not sure. Kind of a weird way to word it, though.
I Googled it, and according to this article on Techipedia, a sandbox is a style of game in which minimal character limitations are placed on the gamer, don't say gamer, allowing the gamer to roam and change a virtual world at will. In contrast to a progression-style game, a sandbox game emphasizes roaming and allows a gamer to select tasks. So you could maybe describe Tarkov that way, sort of. There is progression in Tarkov, but you don't have to do it. And a lot of people don't. They just play to, like, kill shit. And you can play that way.
Yeah.
Play whatever. You could play whatever.
It's not going to work very well, but you can do it, yeah.
Yeah, you could be level 1, having never played Tarkov before, and just queue into reserve and get fucking raped. Completely farmed. But you're right. You can do that. You'll never survive a raid on reserve as a new player. Never. PMC anyway. But you could. The sandbox in that respect. It doesn't make you go customs first, for example. So yeah, maybe it could be the DMZ mode. I struggle to imagine what else they could be talking about with a new sandbox mode, if not DMZ.
My only thought was, since those people were leaking map editor, which I don't think is coming, maybe really it is some sort of sandbox mode where you can design things. Because, like, you know, Battlefield did that, and it was a huge... No, wait, that wasn't a huge flop. That's the thing people use in Battlefield. That's the... Is that Hazard Zone? No, Hazard Zone was the other thing. I don't remember.
Oh, Portal?
Portal. That's the Battlefield Portal. That's actually very popular in the new Battlefield, I think. At least it was on launch. But so maybe they are trying to design something like that. Who knows? Battlefield Season 1 finally came out today, and I guess it didn't work for like 2 hours. You just couldn't launch it.
Wow, really? That's crazy.
Something like that. Yeah,
that's crazy and surprising. Holy shit.
But yeah, anyway, so we're assuming it's DMZ. Who knows? We'll get more info on that. And maybe we'll get some sort of DMZ teaser in the next month, because Tom did say probably within the next 30 days we'd get something else.
Yeah, by the way, we are now on notice. Tom said between now and the 4th of July, we will be getting something big from Tom. So turn noties on his Twitter. Yeah. _Tom_Henderson_ on Twitter. Change it.
And here is a Charlie Intel. I did put it in here. I just put it down low. We've seen a lot of comments about Last Gen being supported. Infinity Ward has stated Last Gen is Call of Duty's biggest player base, and new consoles are still hard to find. It makes no sense to leave those players behind. So example, yeah. So Sony has sold 115 plus million PS4s and only 20 million PS5s so far.
Yeah.
So there we go. You know, obviously it's also because like the PS4 was out for 8 years or something, so that's why it's also sold more. But they still know they have the numbers. They're saying more people play on last gen consoles still, and that's not just for Warzone. I'd said Warzone. That was a mistake. It's all of Call of Duty multiplayer and whatnot too.
Yes. Correct.
And then just a cute little excerpt here real quick. This is in some blog post that was useless, but they said one thing that I thought was funny. They're already saying it. This was referring to, like, I think Warzone 2, new features and new gameplay that work seamlessly together. They can't go without a blog post for the next title without using seamless. So would it be a major release if seamless wasn't mentioned in there somewhere? So there you go.
The seamless incident, dude.
The seamless incident, troll despair, yeah.
It would not be an Activision post without them using the word seamless. So
yeah, exactly.
I'm very glad you included that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next we're gonna get into the gunsmith here a little bit. Couple things. One from Charlie Intel, then we'll talk a little bit about Ace, what Ace said. So we got a Charlie Intel article here. Gunsmith returns to Modern Warfare 2 with new features, created class, and attachment tuning. So let's see. We'll get to the point where it matters. Okay, in Modern Warfare 2, players can expect a broader range of attachment types than ever before. Ooh. This means that players will have more tools to adjust how the weapons feel in-game. This added depth is meant to increase your control over the gameplay experience by shaping the weapon to suit different play styles. So it is expected that each Modern Warfare 2 weapon will arrive with as many attachments to unlock. Oh, with many. A final number is not confirmed. Some people have been saying like 70 attachments. Charlie Intel's like,
70 is
that's never been confirmed. I don't know where people are hearing that. That's what he said. He's like, it hasn't been confirmed. No one knows. So in terms of total number of attachments on the gun, there's no exact number. It is expected to be, well, it's definitely less than Vanguard's total of 10 attachments, though.
That you can equip at once.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about what Ace said. We're just going to finish this Charlie Intel article. Another thing, the most drastic change coming to the gunsmith is the ability to tune weapon attachments. As most COD players already know, weapon attachments bring pros and cons to the weapon to alter how it feels in-game. So players will be able to adjust the characteristics of the attachments to suit their needs. For example, if a standard stock attachment adds movement speed and reduces recoil control, there will be a slider where you can essentially adjust it so that that's tuned for more movement speed or recoil control being decreased via the attachment tuning. So you can like slide it one way or the other. So if you want more recoil control, you can slide it that way and then you'll have slower movement. So there will be a pro and a con, whatever way you fine tune that and slide that, it will do more.
I'm going to get a picture for you, Tanner. Exclusive Ace made a really good example picture because there are actually, at least on some attachments, there are actually 2 sliders.
Oh yeah, it was like the axe. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, find that and then post that link.
Yeah, I will.
So this feature, by the way, will be available for weapons that reach a certain level, which means you'll need to be proficient with a weapon to access this feature. This isn't an opportunity to make weapons overpowered, as boosting one characteristic drastically will result in a corresponding negative. Players will need to respect the balance between pros and cons, but they will be free to decide where that balance lies. So essentially, if you want like the fastest mobility class, you can set up a no-stock MP5, and every attachment you have that increases movement speed, there will then be a slider probably, where you can increase the movement speed even more. I'm sure it won't be drastic if there's a slider. They do call it fine-tuning. But this is something brand new that we've never seen. Did you post a link?
Yeah,
okay,
so Tanner's going to pull up an example image right now. So Exclusive Ace had a video, which Tanner has linked, and that's going to be in the show notes as well. And he saw the new gunsmith shit when he went to Activision HQ or whatever. However, this is not a screenshot of MW2 Gunsmith. This is a recreation that he made based on what he saw. So it will look about like this. This is not an actual in-game image.
Yeah.
So in this image, we can see, for example, we are fine-tuning a barrel. So you put a barrel on the MP5, and then with that attachment itself, you could do barrel tuning. And there are two axes. So on the vertical axes, you have a slider and a point. If you bring the point higher on the slider, you'll get more recoil control at the cost of ADS speed. And if you bring the slider lower, you'll get more ADS speed at the cost of recoil control. So if your MP5, for example, already has no recoil anyway, you might want to slide that bitch down all the way to ADS speed, because you want more ADS speed and you don't care too much about sacrificing recoil control. For another gun, it might be different. And then there's also a separate slider independent of that one that dictates how much aim walking speed you want on one end versus aiming stability on the other end. So if you really want to be able to ADS strafe quickly, you can go all the way to that end on the slider. But then when you do aim, you're going to have a lot of idle sway. And then you could go completely the opposite direction and you'll get very little idle sway, but you won't ADS walk as quickly. How impactful this is going to be is a completely open question, as Tanner said. No one knows. I suspect it won't be that drastic, like
Same.
Tanner said. I think the attachment itself is going to impact things like ADS speed, recoil control, aim walking, idle sway, etc. a lot more than the sliders will. But the sliders are pretty cool. And I think what the idea that they have, in my view, is this. There's always going to be a meta attachment setup. So the MP5 in MW2, you're going to use these 7 attachments, and these are the 7 meta attachments. However, how you want to fine-tune each of those meta attachments is going to depend on you as an individual. If by default this is too much recoil, you can tune some shit to get more recoil control. But if you are good at controlling recoil, maybe then you're like, fuck it, I'll take even more recoil and be able to ADS more quickly. That is the idea, I think, that Infinity Ward wants to kind of have be the case for this game. And if it functions that way, that's going to be really cool. However, it's also possible that what's going to happen is, here's the meta MP5. It is these 10 attachments with these sliders positions exactly right here.
Yeah.
And then everyone's going to have to copy that shit, and that's going to be really annoying.
Yeah.
So how it's going to function, I don't know. I've given you what, in my opinion, is the best case scenario and the worst case scenario. But I think it's a cool, ambitious idea, and I'm very excited to see how it functions in game. So there's going to be, and it's also unclear if every attachment can be tuned. And further, if every attachment can be tuned, will every attachment have 2 separate sliders or just 1 for some and 2 for others? We don't know. But it's an interesting idea.
And then like they said in the article too, they talked about you don't just get it when you get the gun. You have to be proficient in the weapon, whatever that means. So I'm almost thinking this is some sort of something to add depth to the customization and the overall game. Basically, maybe once you get a gun max level, you have to do some sort of challenge, like how you can get like obsidian camo now in MW. Maybe they're like, you have to do this, get this many kills with this gun or something.
Even be attachment challenges.
Yeah.
Like you have to get 1,000 kills, hopefully not that many, with a heavy barrel to unlock fine tuning for all heavy barrels.
That would actually make a lot of sense. Yeah. So we don't really know, but it could be something like that, almost like some form of weapon mastery challenges that you can do. So that's cool. And my guess is for how much it'll impact it. Let's say you throw on a barrel that increases your ADS speed by like 50 milliseconds. I would guess fine-tuning that either way, one way or the other, wouldn't be more than like 10 milliseconds. Because that would just be weird if you can put on a barrel that does like 50 and then you can, quote, fine-tune it to also, like, again, change the ADS by like another 50. It's not going to be that way. I think it's going to be very minor differences. So much that, like, a lot of it probably won't be noticeable and really matter that much, to be honest. It may be one of those things where you get a gun setup that feels really good and you don't even need to adjust the sliders, honestly, you know? But I am excited to see how this works. Hopefully I'm wrong. Maybe there will be a lot of different things you can do with it. But it's a cool idea. And if there's one studio that I trust with
True
weapon
game data
customization,
is fucking seething right now, by the way. How do you graph every single slider position?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
If there's one studio that I trust to do weapon customization right, it's Infinity Ward. So it'll be better than Vanguard's weapon customization. It'll be better than Cold War's. It'll hopefully be just an improved version of MW 2019, which was good weapon customization, other than things not doing what they said they're going to do. But that was also kind of confirmed by some content creators that there's definitely more detail. And I think there's kind of like a number system now instead of just kind of like what Vanguard has. Like instead of just plus recoil control like it says in MW, it may say +3 recoil control like Vanguard, because Vanguard has that system down correctly. That is a good implementation.
Yeah.
So then kind of moving on to the video Ace put out, he talked about more how the gunsmith works. So essentially what they saw, there are 4 guaranteed weapon categories, at least for the specific guns they saw. And those were barrel, magazine, receiver, and stock. And you are required, I think he actually used the word required, to have one from each category. So maybe by default, whatever the default gun is, that will already be selected.
Image. Bottom here.
Okay. So maybe that will already be selected. But regardless, these 4 sounds like you have to take. So I'm saying a stock MP5 will probably say stock barrel, stock receiver, something like that, stock 30 round magazine. And then those are a guaranteed 4. So those you can change. And then up here you have other attachments, which are muzzle, under barrel, laser, ammo, optic, and rear grip. And those, they don't know how many you'll be able to choose. So you have 4 guaranteed. Barrel.
3. 0 out of 3.
He said that was just a number that he put in. They don't actually know what it's going to be.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think he said it said 0 out of 3, sure? But like Infinity Ward said that's not
finalized.
Yeah, or something like that. And also Charlie Intel said we don't know how many attachments. It's definitely not 10 though. You can't take 10 attachments. There will be trade-offs. So the guaranteed 4: barrel, magazine, receiver, and stock, and then maybe you can select a muzzle device, a laser, and an ammo type for your other 3, or select an under barrel, an optic, a rear grip, something like that. So I'm guessing there's probably going to be around 7 attachments you can select. That's kind of how it's seeming.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, that would make the most sense, but it's not guaranteed that it's 3. What else? I think that's it for that.
Yeah. So again, we're going to link the video for you guys if you wanted to go check it out. I encourage you to, because Ace actually saw this shit. And I recall him saying he was like sure on this, but maybe he wasn't. I don't know. But again, yeah. So you have a gun. You're guaranteed 4 parts. So a barrel, mag, receiver, and stock. You're guaranteed those slots. You can always use them. But then there's 6 other slots: muzzle, underbarrel, laser, ammo, optic, and rear grip. That's 6. There's 6 slots, but you can only pick 3 out of the 6, for example. So that would mean a total of, you can have 7 out of 10 attachments, which is, and I'm very happy that we're going back to this. Whether it's 3 that are guaranteed out of 6 or 2 or 4, I don't think that matters. It'll be one of those 3 numbers, definitely. As long as you have to pick and choose which slots you can use, I think this is really good. And I like that they put optic in there as well, because there's another great way to balance guns. And I'm a big fan of that. And I think that's a really cool system. Unlike Vanguard, where you can just use every single slot, which I think is just stupid. So I like this a lot. I'm very happy about this. And there's a firing range, by the way. So in the video, Ace also has on the bottom left, go to firing range in his example image based on what he saw. So we did get confirmation there will be a firing range again. And what he was saying was like, yeah, you could build a gun, your 7 out of 10 attachments that you want, and then you could immediately just press from that screen, go to firing range, and you'll load into a firing range with the setup you just made to test it. And then you could be like, little too much recoil. Go back and change an attachment, or even fine tune your barrel for more recoil control. Go back into the firing range and then test it again and be like, okay, well now ADS is too slow. And then you can keep doing that shit. So firing range also confirmed, and it seems well integrated if you can go to it directly from this screen, which is a really cool quality of life addition.
Super dope.
So that's another big fucking W, as the kids say, for MW2.
Yeah.
So this is fucking dope.
If it's essentially implemented that well too, where you can build the gun and immediately go into a firing range, that's really cool. Because I can't tell you how many times when we first got Caldera, I tried to make the AS-44 work, and I would build a gun.
To play like a whole fucking game with.
I would build a gun. I don't think at that point you could adjust the attachments in game, like in the pregame lobby, or it wasn't saving or something. I don't remember. So I'd build an AS-44 with 8 recoil attachments on it. I would load into a game of Warzone, fire once, and my character would break his back, and my barrel would be behind me because I had so much recoil. If you have a firing range and can immediately change attachments and click a button and load in there really fast, and I can know within 10 seconds of me building a gun, holy shit, this is unusable. That's going to save me a lot of time. That's really, really dope.
Really cool.
Firing range, hopefully we get that for Warzone too. That's been.
I'm positive we would.
If it's an MW, I'm sure they'll port that over to Warzone. So that's very exciting. That's actually probably more exciting than the gunsmith news we got in general.
The gunsmith is like, this is a cool system, and I'm a fan of it, but it's not that transformative. You're picking a finite number of attachments out of more slots than you can use.
Yeah. And
they change how your gun works. The only real innovation so far is the fine tuning shit. And the firing range. So, yeah, not crazy transformative, but it's all good. So I'm a big fan of it, even if it's not as like insanely groundbreaking as like, I don't know, DMZ will be or something. Yeah, exactly. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, so then moving on here, a little bit more information, the kind of that we already covered. Charlie Intel, gunsmith attachment tuning is very precise. You can fine tune attachments, but each comes with positive and negatives. The tuning system unlocks for weapons once you level weapons up. So we don't know if that's max level, if that's with certain attachments only, like Raz said, if it's after you max out the gun and then you have to do something else to unlock it. We have no idea.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah. Next thing here, again, kind of just going all over the place. So multiplayer will support a wide variety of player behaviors and allow different players to have fun in their own ways. Okay. Rusher, run and gun, sentinels, campers, and stalker are 3 key behaviors with the default load. Oh, so that's just for default load. That's okay. That doesn't matter. Never mind.
It kind of does matter, because if you're making 3 default loadouts, one for rusher, one for sentinels, campers, and then one for stalker, which I'm assuming is going to be the stealth class. So it'll have dead silence, or it'll have ghost, or cold-blooded, or all of them, something like that. If these are the 3 archetypes for the default loadouts, do default loadouts matter at all? Of course they don't. But this gives us an insight into the state of mind of the devs, and that they will be catering to these 3 play styles and trying to make them all viable.
Yeah.
That's a good thing because these are the three. I think Stalker's kind of a weird archetype, but the fact that Rusher is an archetype that they want to cater to, running and gunning in some capacity,
they want
is a good
want
thing.
People to move. That's really good, actually.
Because if there were default loadouts in MW 2019, there would be two. They would be Sentinels and Stalkers. There would not be a Rusher default loadout in MW 2019 because nothing about that game catered to running and gunning. So that is very insightful, I think. And the fact that they're making a default loadout that caters to people who want to run and gun implies they have running and gunning in mind as a play style they want to be viable, which is great. So yeah, the default loadouts don't fucking matter at all. I'll use them for literally one game till I'm level 4, and then I'm going to make my own fucking class anyway. But that's the point I wanted to make there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next thing here. Again, going all over the place. Modern Warfare 2 has a big focus on AI. AI in Modern Warfare 2 reacts, is lethal, and fully aware of their surroundings to provide a sense of life across all modes of play. All modes of play, by the way, DMZ mode. Yeah. AI can group up, flank players, and more. They have tested a large sandbox with 300 AI and 100 live players. So there's a lot of people thinking that that means Warzone. They don't necessarily say that. We don't know what that means. But a lot of people are speculating that every Warzone match is going to have 300 AI in it. And I just don't believe that at all. But there are a lot of people that believe that. And only 100 actual players. Imagine playing against more bots than actual players in a BR.
300 is a fucking lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And they did say they tested a large sandbox mode. I don't know what they're trying to get at there. If they're saying they just tested it to stress test it and they're saying, oh, the AI works with that many, or if there's actually some sort of mode, DMZ, a sandbox mode, Warzone, that would ever have that many AI in it. Sounds absolutely absurd to me.
That seems like a really big number, because what I was thinking was like, well, even for Warzone 2 with the strongholds that will have AI in them, that would imply a lot of AI. So let's say on the Warzone map, there are 10 strongholds, which is already a lot. And each stronghold has, if there were 10 strongholds, each stronghold has 30 AI, or maybe the big strongholds have 50. The medium ones have 30 and the small ones have like 10. That would add up to 300.
Yeah, I guess you're right. If there's a shitload of...
But 10 strongholds is a lot. Because how many AI do you think were at factory when they had AI there?
5? 4?
There weren't that many, huh?
No, they were in each of the
like
towers.
5.
So they were like 3 or I think 4, about 4 towers.
Yeah, there were only like 5, yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
Not many.
But like in a stronghold, I could see them adding 10, 20, maybe on the biggest ones, 30. Yeah, I don't know what this
means. And they're
means.
going to be dog shit, as we've said, yeah. So.
And yeah, they're not going to be lethal. Yeah,
if I'm playing a BR where I'm just farming AI, that doesn't sound fun. Yeah, I'll go play offline something. I don't know. That sounds terrible though. But whatever. That probably doesn't actually mean anything. That's one of those things where it's like info you get and it almost makes you wish you didn't hear it, because now I'm just like, what the fuck does that mean? Now I'm just more confused than if Charlie Intel hadn't even said that. So next time, don't say that. Maybe Liam's tweeting for you. I'm not sure. But anyways.
God damn it, Liam.
So we'll get more into
the incident.
Yeah. So we'll get more into, there's an actual article on movement mechanics here.
Did you add Troll Despair? I linked it.
No. So there's an actual
Tanner
movement mechanic article here. But we'll start off with a couple of tweets. MW2 will feature water and bring swimming into the engine, and water will be featured in all modes of the game, including Warzone 2. Devs said, quote, they can't keep building Warzone maps without water. I mean, you can. You just don't add water. It's the most simple thing you could do, theoretically.
Not hard,
so don't say that statement, Warzone devs. You can. You're choosing not to. You're choosing to add water in because you want something new and fresh. So got it. Raz Malding. We'll keep moving on to the next tweet here. With water and swimming, Infinity Ward currently only allows pistol and melee items to be used underwater. Equipment can also be used with proximity mines being able to float and move along currents of the water to take out boats. Oh, I didn't read that before.
Yeah. That won't matter. And
well,
included in the
boats coming to Warzone.
Well, the boats part, Matt.
That's
a good point. Oh, that's an excellent point. And what was not included in this tweet, I don't know if we were going to talk about it later, but the people, Ace, J God, Swag, someone, after the embargo got lifted, was also saying you can only shoot pistols and melee underwater, but if you are treading water, you can shoot your primary.
Yes, and so
you can shoot primaries if you're above the surface, or treading water, I should say.
Yeah, so that is the big difference. So you could sit in water, theoretically, just be above it and be able to shoot. Obviously, you're going to be an easy dog shit target, probably, but also later on here, we'll get into a little map that Tom has talked about, and we'll talk about the water there, and how that could come into play with how the supposed Warzone map is shaping up as of now.
Yes, so we will get more into that, but I don't like water. I don't like... Well,
Raz doesn't know how to fly. I mean, not fly. I'm sure you don't know how to fly.
I don't know how to fly.
You don't know how to fly. He doesn't know how to swim, though, is what I meant to say.
I do know how to swim.
He's incapable of swimming.
Swimmer.
Championship,
look at the shoulders. Look at the
Did you win a championship?
I've won a number of championships, yeah. And I'll provide documentation in the show notes. Yeah, I don't like this. So I didn't realize there were boats.
I didn't realize that until I read that either. I missed that part.
So that maybe changes my opinion depending on what these boats are like. But I was envisioning a world in which I'm playing Warzone and the final circle is in a lake. So now we are all fighting on the surface of water or something. That sounds really dumb and unfun.
Yeah.
And also, what if Final Circle is everything but one little island is water, and some dogshit team is the only team on the island? They basically just won by default, probably. That's not fun either. Now, you could say, well, even without water, that will happen. Some dogshit team happens to have the last building in the final circle, so they win by default, which is a decent counter argument. However, the advantage of being in the last building in the final circle versus being the last person on fucking land in the final circle is a little different. I'd certainly rather be outside the building than the only team not on land. I'd rather be the guys out of the building than fucking swimming in goddamn Warzone. So I don't like this, but maybe it's fine. And if there are boats, depending on how plentiful those are, this could be super fine. Because I can imagine there are boats with no goddamn turrets on them, or if they are, they're complete dog shit. Then it would be okay. And then it's like, okay, well, there's only one island, but we can get on this little boat and like drive pretty quickly, so we're not super easy to kill, to get on like the other side of the island behind a tree or a rock, get off the boat and then fight. That would ameliorate a lot of my concerns about water, depending on how the boats function, how plentiful they are, and if there are turrets on them. If those are too good, then I don't like it for that reason, because then there's going to be some guy in the lake when it's solos and only thing in the final circle is water, and there's some fucking guy on this boat seat swapping you with a fucking mounted 50 cal while you're in the water like an asshole, and then you're definitely fucked. That doesn't sound fun either. So there are a lot of ways the water situation, the water incident, Troll Despair, can go poorly, but it is possible that it's fine, and it will depend on how much water is on this map, which we're going to get into. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts on water. What do you think?
Well, you could add, you can throw the inflatable prox mine and the boat will blow up. Pretty simple, right? Figure it out, idiot. Get
I always
better.
run fucking prox mines on my Warzone loadouts final circle, so yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't.
Full despair.
I added it, but it's not working for me. Maybe I have to refresh it or something.
You gotta refresh that sucker.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can just tell you right now, they're not going to purposely have a ending of the circle that's in the middle of a lake where you have to swim. It will happen. But they won't intend that to happen. So it won't happen often. Just like circles on Caldera end outside of the zone. Peak. Oh, I've never had one outside of the zone. Got it. Well, you're lucky then. I've had 3 where you just die. Got it. So I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. Like, playing Warzone for the first time, having an armored boat fight would be super fun, actually. That would be dope.
If we're
to see.
both in that,
it would feel like Battlefield. It would feel like Battlefield having a little battle. So, I don't know. We'll see how they do it.
We'll see.
I'm not that mad about it. If you can't sit underneath, if I can't lay prone at the bottom of the ocean and snipe someone 1,000 meters away with a 338 Lapua bolt-action sniper rifle, then I don't really care. You know, it's not going to be an issue. So we'll see. Cheaters. That'll be the cheaters next thing. Sit at the bottom of the ocean botting everyone. Just aim boating everyone.
You know how they made the UGR, by the way, which is like an underwater SMG?
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to add guns, like in Season 3 of MW 2, that can be shot underwater. So there will be like pistols,
probably
melee, and this specific SMG also has the capacity to shoot underwater. This wouldn't matter, of course, but just a thought. Just throwing it out there. You would never use a gun because it can shoot underwater. But still,
no, you'd be an insane person to do that.
Yeah, you'd be a lunatic, yeah.
I hope we get a nail gun, man. Give me a nail gun in the next Warzone again.
I don't need another nail gun. I'm over it. I'm over carpentry tools to kill people. This isn't the fucking Kuklinski zone.
Got it. So a few things on equipment. Nothing real shocking. All the normal equipment's coming back, including snapshot grenades. They said that. Throwing knives, semtex, thermites, frags. However, there are a few new things. There's something called an inflatable decoy, which you won't use, but it sounds funny. It's a good little troll thing.
There's going to be some cute TikToks with an inflatable decoy.
It's a decoy you throw down. When an enemy comes close to it, it's an inflatable person, and it'll pop up, and it'll like scare them, and they may shoot at them thinking someone's jumping around the corner, but it's an inflatable decoy. That's how they made it sound. So I know, like in Verdansk, since every gunfight was on a staircase, people would do that spray where it's a body, and it would work. It would work. You'd start shooting at the body. This is another version of that. It's an inflatable decoy. It'll make you think there's an actual person there. So that's kind of cute and funny. Mm-hmm. EMP device, pretty self-explanatory. It'll knock out
It'll
electric
probably like stop
items.
A vehicle for a little while too.
Maybe.
So if you like hit a Bertha and someone's running away, you can like stop it. It won't work for a while, and then you can go fuck their ass, which is actually kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Drill charge, which is, they actually said it was like the anti-camper thing, which is kind of cool that they brought up campers again. If you've ever played Siege, when Siege first launched, there was an operator. I don't know what they call them if they're operators. It's this device you put on a wall on the floor, and basically it launched grenades out of it. So a drill charge is similar to that. So it's like your character is kind of like drills something into the wall, and it launches a grenade out the other end. So if you're pushing a building, someone's inside one of the rooms, and you don't want to just go in through the door, and you have one of these, you can set it off. It should work through the wall. That sounds like it's going to be hard for them to do. Like, can you do that on any surface and wall? That sounds a little weird. I think
what you were telling me about this from something you saw was that you'd be able to like put a drill charge on like an enemy vehicle, and it would be able to kill the people inside without damaging the vehicle a lot. Wasn't that you that said that based on something you heard?
No.
Does that sound familiar?
That kind of sounds familiar, but I didn't say that. I think someone may have said that. Maybe one of the guys said that in a video, somewhere. Like Ace or someone. I'm not sure.
I heard that somewhere, and maybe it was referring to the drill charge. I've never played Rainbow Six Siege, so I don't know what this is outside of the info we've gotten.
It's just basically you can launch a grenade into a room without entering the room at all. And they're saying it's like the anti-camper thing. So that's one of them.
Yeah, that'll be weird. I don't know.
And then the last thing, again, similar to Siege, a tactical camera that you can supposedly put somewhere. It's probably will be fairly hidden. You can pull up. My guess it'll be like a heartbeat, and you can look at your tactical camera and see if people are coming in. This could
be. Go ahead. Sorry.
This could be interesting for like search or something like that. Could be actually pretty fucking broken. Obviously, it's not going to be in like CDL or anything, but in public search, that could be interesting.
That hostage mode.
Yeah.
Where you're like the defense team, you'll have time to go out into the next hallway, put up a camera, and then go back into the little stronghold. Kind of cool.
And then, so the EMP device would be a direct counter to that camera. You can throw that in. There will also be some sort of perk where it'll outline the cameras through walls like Engineer or something. But
correct.
That's something new in COD. Kind of interesting.
So yeah, this is all shit that I will probably never use.
Probably, yep.
And I don't really care about, but that's not a bad thing. Because if they want to add new shit that I won't use, that's fine. I just won't use it. With the exception possibly of the drill charge. That might be good. I don't really know.
The other thing, by the way, that I believe Charlie Intel or Ace mentioned, I saw it somewhere. They call these equipment, but some of these may be field upgrades.
It seems that way.
Not all of them, but some of them will probably be field upgrades, especially like the camera. That's not going to be a tactical that you can throw down every life if you're playing ground war. It's going to be on a timer, probably like a field upgrade. So we don't know which is which. And actually, kind of all of those actually do sound more like field upgrades. Decoy sounds like a field upgrade. Drill charge, I can see that being like a lethal actually, but I don't really know.
Yeah, we're not sure.
Same thing with EMP, but yeah. So that's it for those. Nothing real surprising on there. So next up, a little bit into the movement. This is an article from Charlie Intel. So Modern Warfare 2 introduces major movement changes: sliding, diving, swimming, and ledge hanging. Start with sliding. If you've played MW 2019 or Vanguard or even Warzone, you're familiar with sliding. Sliding as a movement is making a return. MW 2, shocking. Sliding can be used as an evasive maneuver, blah, blah. I don't care what they say.
Don't care about that.
Modern Warfare 2 diving. Similar to sliding, diving is another movement technique that has an evasive benefits. Diving was last seen as a movement option in COD World War II, Sledgehammer game.
Which was fun.
Yeah. But longtime fans of the franchise will know that the original Black Ops had the Dolphin dive as well. So not only will Dolphin dive act as another tool that's geared for escape, but it'll act as an excellent traversal technique for those looking to maintain their stealth. Okay.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Once you dive, you'll be in a low prone position, which will allow you to crawl across the ground and possibly escape enemy identification. Who wrote this article?
Yeah, what are we doing?
Luca DeMarzo, Italian lad.
God damn it, Luca. Italian, yeah.
So pretty, next one here, swimming. So Modern Warfare 2 will place a major emphasis on the presence of water. The water's design, and more importantly, the way in which players interact with surrounding water, has a major focus for the developers. In MW2, players will benefit from the ability to swim. Water can be used as, again, vital tool for evasion. Holy shit, man. One thing players cannot do while underwater is ADS and fire their primary weapons, as we already said. Only pistols and melee will work. Once players come to the surface, though, then they can ADS with any gun they have. And last one, this is kind of the new interesting one. Ledge hanging movement. The final movement is called ledge hanging. Ledge hanging cannot be defined by one scenario. Instead, the best way to describe it is by stating that it will allow players to interact with their environment in a variety of ways. Got it. For example, ledge hanging will allow you to pull yourself up from a ledge and peek over the top. The movement can be described as jumping, pulling yourself up and around surfaces, and peeking around obstacles or ledges. They did a terrible job explaining that. Where did we see most of the info for ledge hanging? This was a worthless
article. It was probably,
article.
We heard it in a video, yeah.
I think it was J-God's article. Yeah, J-God or Ace's video, one of them.
One of those videos was describing at least some aspects of ledge hanging, like Assassin's Creed shit, where it's like, I'm hanging on one ledge, and I can, like, jump and propel myself to hang on a different ledge, like Assassin's Creed. It won't be I hope to fucking God it won't be as good as Assassin's Creed, because that guy is inhuman parkour levels, the Assassin's Creed main character. But the idea is there, where you can like hang on one ledge and jump to hang on another ledge. And they were talking about ledge hanging as well, where you can just like do a pull up, and like peek over the ledge without actually mantling it.
And then like use your pistol during that, right?
And you can use your pistol and or your primary also. It's unclear which of those things you can do. If you can use your primary, I suspect you won't be allowed to ADS while you're doing that. I hope. Because that seems like like an even more OP head glitch mount kind of situation. That seems kind of crazy.
I feel like you could. I mean, you can ADS on ladders and shit now.
With a
you?
pistol.
Yeah.
With a pistol, you can, yeah.
So I'd imagine you could.
Yeah, I don't know. But then one concern Tanner brought up with this, because the idea of being able to like peek a ledge without fully mantling it and exposing yourself is cool, and that's a good idea, and I like that functionality. However, does that mean that every time you want to mantle something, you're going to have to go through a couple milliseconds of the peak animation first before you continue moving up? How much more slowly, therefore, will you be mantling things if this mechanic exists? I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a way to where if you're like, is there going to be a specific button or keybind you press to peak versus continue full mantling? I don't know. Is it going to be like a position through mechanic where you will peak, but if you keep holding it, it'll only be for a very short time before you fully mantle? I don't know. That could be a concern. I suspect it won't be, because it would be really obvious really immediately how cumbersome it is if you did have to do a peek through every single time. I feel like they won't make that mistake, but maybe. I don't know. But in theory, this sounds pretty cool. It's more options. And it is, I can think of a lot of situations where I would genuinely want to peek a ledge before mantling it. Like there might be guys on this roof. I'm not sure. I won't know unless I just jump up. That's how it works in Warzone right now. So, but if I had the option to just like peek it real quick and see, that would be really cool. So I like this in theory. And it's going to depend on how well it's implemented.
Imagine playing Shipment and there's just some guy hanging at the top of one of the sea cans, all the way at the top, hanging off with one hand, shooting his pistol with the other, and you have to look up there and try to find him. Yeah, my biggest thing was, that Charlie Intel article was absolutely awful. That told us nothing, but should have wrote down notes from the video, because Ace or J-God said something that made it obvious that there is like a long animation for this movement. And what I was saying is, if I'm in Warzone, instead of like now when you jump, you mantle something like immediately, like if I get stuck in some 2-second long animation, that's going to make me furious. And they made it specifically sound like there is an animation and like a delay, and it didn't sound ideal. I don't know. I don't remember what it was, but something was like, that doesn't sound fun. Sounds like a long ass animation.
So bad that I feel like it won't be.
Joe Seacott is in charge of this game. Don't forget.
That's another great point, though. Joe Apricot.
Joe Seacott, the worst developer that Call of Duty that Activision employs by far, the worst head developer. So who knows?
Yeah. This is one of those things where it's like, if it's implemented well, this is all really good and cool. But if it's not, it can be really annoying. But we don't really know yet. So it's hard to say.
Future camo challenge: hang upside down on the top C can on Shipment with a suppressed pistol with a 1-round magazine and get 10 headshots in one game 100 times.
10 collateral headshots.
10 collateral headshots.
Yeah.
Camo challenge. So there we go. One of the worst articles I've ever read on Charlie Intel, by the way.
Yeah, not great.
Fucking terrible. Holy shit. Oh, Liam's the next one. Let's go, baby. So our boy Liam. Charlie Intel article on vehicle combat. Bring major overhaul to major vehicle gameplay overhaul. Let's get into it. Blah blah. Don't care. Blah blah. Don't care. Okay, so it's not the way players interact with vehicles that have changed. The vehicles themselves have been completely redesigned. Currently, the damage vehicles take is displayed by smoke pouring out of the hood. Now vehicles will take real-time damage with doors, hoods, and bumpers getting knocked off, and you can blow out tires. The vehicle won't just disappear after it has been blown up either. Players can repair these damaged vehicles, including fixing damaged tires. We don't know how that's going to work. Raz and I were talking about that yesterday. We were like, does that mean... Do you have to have like a certain item or a certain class or a certain perk? Or can just anyone do it? Maybe you can do it, and if you have tune-up or some sort of perk, it does it a lot faster. Infinity Ward are particularly excited about how water behaves in Modern Warfare, and they've overhauled how vehicles react to it. Cars will no longer blow up after hitting the water. Huh? Said they'll float for a short amount of time before sinking. Got it.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was another worthless article. Got it. So that told us nothing.
That was decent. Also in this article that we didn't read here is the vehicle's driver will now be able to lean out of the window if they have a weapon equipped, and they can shoot in any direction they want. But I think virtually any direction they want. But if you are doing that, you are not able to steer, or you're not able to accelerate, or both. So that's like fine. It's never going to be like really super good to do this, but you can, I guess. But yeah, the biggest thing here is how vehicles obviously take damage.
Yeah, and all players can lean out and shoot out of windows. Yes. Not just the driver. Yeah, everyone can.
Okay, yeah, good point.
And then you can climb from the windows onto the roof and shit, they say.
Oh, okay. So my only thing so this all sounds fine to me and like pretty cool, I guess. And being able to repair vehicles, I think, is interesting, and I think that can be cool. It does remain to be seen if you need a field upgrade or a fucking perk or something to be able to do that. I don't know. Or how long it'll take to repair a vehicle. Again, I don't know. But the biggest thing for me is being able to blow out tires, and that if you blow out a tire, it will impact how that vehicle drives in a realistic manner. So there are games like Grand Theft Auto where you can get your front right tire blown out and your other 3 tires are still inflated, and your car will react in a way that is realistic, where it's like you have your front right tire blown out. So if you, I don't know, you're going to like veer right, you're going to go a lot slower. Steering's going to be weird, whatever. And if all your tires are blown out, you're not going to be going very quickly at all. My concern with this in Warzone is, okay, well, to blow out a tire, if I shoot it with exactly 1 bullet of pretty much any gun, that tire is now deflated. In real life, at least. Now, there are bulletproof tires, I'm pretty sure. So that those will maybe exist and never be able to be de-inflated. Like maybe Bertha's, you can't deflate those tires. Or it'll just take a fuck ton of bullets to do it. I don't know how that's going to work. But vehicles are really important in Warzone, and they are a really integral part of how you can get into zone, move around the map, do rotations. And if it is as trivially easy to blow out tires as it would seem to be in real life, I can easily blow out a tire if I have a fully automatic assault rifle. I can easily blow out all your tires. And now your car is super slow. Well, that makes vehicles a lot fucking worse. And that is kind of concerning to me. But it depends how they implement it and how they do it. And that is my only real concern here. And I don't know how they're going to handle that. And I suspect and hope that like half the vehicles are like military style vehicles that have bullet resistant tires to where it's not going to be trivially easy to blow out tires. But I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I hope for the sake of the video game, someone can't fire like 1 bullet from a pistol into 2 of your tires in 2 shots and then you'd basically not be able to turn. That would be ridiculous. So
yeah.
Yeah, it probably won't. It'd probably be like you have to mag dump a tire to blow it out or something. I mean, it's a casual arcade shooter at the end of the day. So, but yeah, the other thing they didn't mention here, and I don't think are any of these. Oh, there is. And I'll read it now. So there's a new vehicle coming to MW2 and Warzone 2, and it's called the Helicopter Troop Carrier. They describe it as basically an armored truck, but in the air. The helicopter has 2 pilot seats, but the back half can be free roam, allowing players to run around and shoot out of the chopper. So what I'm thinking is, why would they do this, make this vehicle, if there isn't some sort of mode they're designing for more than 4 people? Like, I guess maybe they're designing this with ground war in mind and then porting it over to Warzone. Because I'm picturing a chopper that's meant for like 6 to 8 people.
Correct. I agree.
So hopefully it's just that case. I'm trying to think. I wonder if there's some other big scale mode they're thinking of, or if
maybe DMZ.
For some reason, maybe DMZ, or maybe for some reason Warzone is gonna have squads of 5 or 6 possible. Hey, maybe it'll be a squad of 4, and then you get placed with 4 AI on your team that you're forced to play with.
Yeah, there's the 300 AI.
There's the 300 AI confirmed. There we go.
Yeah.
We figured it out. So that's cool. New vehicle coming. Probably like a Huey or Black Hawk.
And if no one's driving it, the helicopter will automatically just hover in place. So you could all just hover above something and just shoot out with no one driving, and it won't like crash. There's another feature of that new squad helicopter.
Just do some sniping out of it or something, yeah.
Yeah. Which is fine, I guess. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
No problem with that.
So next thing here. iDub has confirmed there's no theater mode in Modern Warfare 2. That was a leak. That's not true. That was one of the leaks that Dipshit said, and then he tweeted out all the leaks he was right on. Got it. That's when you were wrong on. They said
the 2 Ghosts.
It could be something implemented broadly in the future of the franchise. It won't be. That's them saying.
It won't.
Devs don't like to say no. That's them saying no.
That's a no. That's a hard no. Yeah.
So an all new
mode since BO4. F's in the chat.
Yeah. An all new mobile experience will bring Call of Duty Warzone to players on the go is in development. No release date confirmed. So again, like what we talked about with Tom, they need something to fill their pockets next year. I'm hoping it's something zombies related. Maybe it is. Maybe we don't get the zombies standalone or something big with zombies till 2024. This could be what fills their pockets next year, because I know a lot of you listening, like me, have zero interest in mobile games, but the fact is they are extremely popular. I mean, there's more mobile gamers than console and PC gamers combined. There's been an insane amount of downloads on COD Mobile. It's like 800 million downloads on that game or something.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's a mobile game, so it's easy to download. Doesn't tell you a whole lot, but there are a lot of people that play that. Mobile is a huge part of video games in 2022, so they can make a shitload of money on microtransactions next year. Realistically, this is probably what we are getting is this, and they will make just so much damn money off of these microtransactions. And I
believe it's also been confirmed that Verdansk is going to be the COD Mobile Warzone map.
Yeah. Obviously, it's Verdansk, but it's not Verdansk. It's not to scale. It's mobile. Yeah. It's probably 1/100th of the size since it's a mobile game, but it will be Verdansk, they say.
Yeah. I don't care. But yeah, it makes sense.
I don't care. Though. Yeah, a lot of people do. None of you guys listening probably care, but a lot of people will. That'll be a very popular.
But yeah, I agree with your assessment. Probably 23.
So multiplayer Modern Warfare 2 features 2 styles of play: battle maps and core maps. Battle maps are large-scale maps, ground war, while core maps are built exclusively for 6v6. Core maps will take place in locations around the world. Battle maps will be POIs from the new Warzone map. Again, why waste resources developing new areas of the Warzone map when they can just port it over from ground war? That's perfectly fine. They did it for Verdansk. Zero issue in that at all. The most exciting thing for me out of this is hearing large-scale maps, ground war. That was my favorite thing to play in M 2019 after they slaughtered my boy Ten's Dom, because no one of you played it. That was the most fun version of Modern Warfare 2019, and none of you played it, and that's why it got removed. You guys all complained about multiplayer, but it's because you were all stuck playing 6s on maps that were entirely too big and said, oh, this game sucks. Sure does, because you're not playing 10s, you fucking idiot. I mean, it was crazy how bad 6s was in that game compared to 10s or ground war. So it does worry me that they say core maps are built exclusively for 6v6. So 10s may be going away, which would make sense since they got rid of 10's Dom in MW 2019. It must not have been that popular of a playlist, and more people were probably playing ground war, so they figured, screw it, let's do 6s and ground war.
I'm fine if there's no 10s, if there is ground war.
If we launch with ground war and it's more than one map, then I'm fine with that. Yeah, that's something we haven't heard about yet, is how many maps on launch. I feel like with Vanguard, we're already getting leaks at this point that are like there's at least 10 to 12 maps on launch. So
yeah. Another thing I just thought of with this, by the way, battle maps are large-scale maps. Core maps are built exclusively for 6v6. This implies to me that the combat pacing shit is not coming back. Because if you're building maps exclusively for 6v6, you're not going to like allow 10s on it, you know?
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
I think combat pacing is done, which is kind of fine. I mean, I wouldn't hate
didn't
if it
work
was coming
anyways.
back, but it didn't. You'd really do shit anyway, yeah. And another thing Ace was saying about these core maps is that they specifically said they are not making maps like they did for MW 2019 that were porous and big. He said that the devs said the core maps are going to tend to be smaller and less porous than MW 2019's map, which is a giant. Duh, good, of course, thank God. And they've learned from their mistake in that capacity. And I can almost guarantee the core maps in this game are going to be better than the core maps that were in MW 2019. They specifically made a point to talk about that with all these insiders at their little reveal thing. So that's really, really fucking good. That means they're listening, they're learning, and they're implementing. So this is fantastic to hear.
The devs have publicly said too that they know they made a mistake with MW 2019 maps. You look at the maps on launch too, and the maps we got into the game's life cycle, they did get better. We started getting more 3-lane maps, Shoot House, Candor, Hideout. We ended up getting a lot of good ones, much better than maps like Piccadilly. So they obviously can design maps. Infinity Ward has designed a ton of good maps in previous games. And it's good to hear that they know the mistake that they made and they don't plan to do that again. They've been saying that pretty much since like MDub's life cycle ended and Cold War came out. They're like, yeah, we know we fucked up on the maps. You're right. We tried something, it didn't work. So great news.
Yeah, indeed. And then the battle maps, I have nothing to add. We told you, Tom told you, they're going to be big maps. They're going to be chunks of the Warzone map, and that's fine. So this is all good. Yeah, I'll take this for sure. So next here we have let's see.
We already covered.
Yeah, let's just.
Okay, now we'll start getting into the campaign here.
Yeah.
We'll start out with this. This is a tweet from yesterday. We did get the campaign revealed today, so we'll start with this though. Charlie Intel said we had a chance to see campaign missions from MW2, including a mission called Night War. This mission saw you play a soap and team with Ghost to clear out enemies after a friendly chopper is downed. Demo ended with an RPG hitting your location. So that tweet started an entire Twitter thread that Charlie Intel did that I don't care about. I don't care about the lore and all of the campaign. I'm not a COD lore guy. If you care about it, go to their Twitter. They posted it on June 8th. Correct. It's a long thread. They talk about a bunch of missions in detail. I don't care, but I'm just letting you guys know you can talk about that. But they did reveal today was the game awards, I think it was called, is live stream on Twitch. They did the worldwide Summer's Game Fest, yeah. They did the worldwide reveal of the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, which was a mission called Wet Job. What was it called? No, that's the old school one. It was water wet something. It looks like Wet Work from COD 4. They've do the same mission.
They're on a fucking boat. Yeah.
They go out to an oil rig. There's also a boat. It's raining. It's storming. A lot of winds. Anyways, so that was our first look at actual Modern Warfare 2 gameplay. There's a few things I noticed. Number one, it looks very, very similar to Modern Warfare 2019. Graphics look about the same. Detail looks about the same. Animations look about the same. It showed off a few guns. It was like a shotgun. Don't care. It was a Vector, also known as the Fennec, I guess, in Modern Warfare. The attachments look the same. The optics look the same. The suppressors look the same. And then he also had a Scar. By the way, with a VLK optic on it, which looked exactly like the MW 2019 VLK. It was like a slightly different reticle. That's it. It was the same optic, though.
Yeah.
So I gathered that the guns, the gameplay, it's like super scripted single player gameplay. It really doesn't tell you much at all. The only other thing, what was I going to say about it?
Is there an ACR?
ACR confirmed. No. The gunplay. I hope this doesn't come to multiplayer. I hope this is a single player thing. There are you know how when Vanguard launched, there's like a shitload of smoke when you fire your guns, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this had a ton of tracers, bullet tracers. Like every bullet you fired was a tracer. So it's just like the screen was just riddled with like bullet tracer effects everywhere, which is completely fine if that's only a single player, and I hope it is, or if that's just like a setting you can turn off. But I don't want to be playing Warzone on multiplayer and see every single fucking person's tracer rounds flying around. That is very annoying. It's visual clutter. It's unnecessary in multiplayer. So I'm really praying that's only single player, and I feel like it is. But you didn't have all of like that smoke and shit that Sledgehammer games had, but you have the tracer effects. That seemed like they could be annoying. But yeah, don't think that would come over to multiplayer as drastic as it is. They're basically turning the graphics on the highest they can go and showcasing it too.
Exactly, yeah.
So it makes all those things more obvious. But other than that, like nothing. You could have shown me that gameplay and I would have genuinely thought it was MW 2019. It's not that different, but it was one campaign mission that was 7 minutes long. So, and that's what I was expecting. You don't really get to tell much about that until you see actual, like a live multiplayer beta or people playing some sort of a closed alpha against other actual players. That's what I am interested to see. So it didn't really tell you much.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, people are like, oh, we have all these guns in the game. First of all, whatever guns come to the goddamn game don't fucking matter. People are losing their minds on the timeline about the ACR coming back. And I don't understand why. We knew there were going to be assault rifles in this game. We knew that some of them would be fully automatic. And now we know that there's a fully automatic assault rifle called the ACR, probably in the game. Who fucking cares? It's not going to be anything like the MW2 ACR because it's not MW2. It's a different game with different health, competing against different ARs and different other guns. And this shit doesn't matter. And we've had an ACR, by the way. The Kilo is an ACR by a different name that we had in 2019. Let's see. Cold War, there was another fucking ACR probably that maybe looked different, but it was a full auto assault rifle that did damage and didn't have that much recoil. We've had an ACR in every single first-person shooter game ever. Maybe it looks different. Maybe it has a different name. We've always had an ACR. We're going to get another one. This time they're going to change the text on your loadout from Kilo to ACR, and you're losing your mind. It doesn't matter. It's the same gun. So stop being excited about guns that are going to come back. Oh, we're going to get the intervention. Hey, cool. We've had an intervention every single game because it's a bolt action sniper rifle that you shoot. And that's it. That's all an intervention is. And it's that simple. We have an AX-50. That's the intervention. Congratulations. If we named it the intervention, would your dick get hard? Why?
It literally would.
It's the same gun. It's so stupid that people get so happy about this. So stop getting excited about guns that are coming back because it's not going to be the intervention from MW2 because it's not MW2 we're playing. And it's not that exact gun competing against all the other guns in that exact ecosystem. We're going to get another bolt action sniper rifle. Whoop-de-fucking-do. So first of all, that. Second of all, the campaign mission was the least insightful thing I've ever watched. Yeah, we learned nothing from that. Biggest thing for me I was hoping for was that there would be some kind of HUD. There was absolutely no HUD. So we saw some contextual button interactions available in the campaign mission. So he walked up to a door, press X to open the door or whatever. That was one thing we saw. So that was like one sort of HUD kind of mechanic. I guess that also confirms, which is no one's talking about, by the way, there will be doors that can be opened now, at least in campaign. So
no, doors are in multiplayer. Yeah, they talk about that. I didn't put it in here because it's like, duh.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, we're getting doors back. That's not surprising, and I don't really care. But yeah, we got no HUD, so I don't think we really learned anything from the campaign. Yeah, I have nothing to add on the campaign question. As Tanner said, I'm not going to judge anything about this game ultimately until I play it, but certainly not until I see some multiplayer gameplay of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't learn anything from the campaign, but you should check it out if you want. It didn't excite me at all. Just looked like a campaign mission. I don't know.
Expected more. I thought they had said something about 3 campaign missions, but the more I think about it, I think that was what people saw in LA was they saw parts of 3 different campaign missions. Yeah, this was just one campaign mission. Not interesting. And the person was terrible, by the way. Holy shit, they were missing everything. Dog shit.
Were they? Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm with you. You know, people that get excited for specific old guns because they were in an old game are the same people that want Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer remastered and then will realize it's boring and not the same and stop playing it after 5 hours. That's the same thing. I'm excited for all the guns and the customization. Yeah. I just don't care. Oh, is the ACR coming back? Is the intervention coming back? I don't care. Give me guns. Just give me guns that are cool. I'm more excited than anything for the mutant that's been rumored because no other shooter video game that I know of has ever had the mutant except for Tarkov. And because that is like a new gun, and in real life, only one company makes that gun. So like, oh, that'd be cool if that was in Call of Duty. Was that Ted playing the campaign? Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Fucking hilarious.
Where's the recon drone though? He would have sent that up, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways,
not there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm very excited for the guns and the customization, but please shut the fuck up about wanting the ACR back and the intervention back because it won't be the same thing. You just want to play Modern Warfare 2 again in 2014. That's what you're misunderstanding. It won't feel the same anyways, so get over it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to play MW 2 again, then you have to make a time machine, and then you'll get the nostalgic feeling you're looking for. But you're not going to be a kid again. You're not going to not have some bat wife that you hate and resent and 2 kids you didn't want again. You're never going to not have those things that you hate, and a mortgage and a job that makes you want to end it all every single day in game, of course. You'll never have that again. So MW 2 getting remastered will not help you. You are not going to get the same feeling that you got when you came home from school, didn't do your homework, and played MW 2 with the boys. That's never happening again unless you build a time machine. So that remaster doesn't matter. Guns that were in MW 2 coming back don't matter. Grow up. Grow up.
Yeah, I've never understood that. I don't know.
It's so weird. Yeah.
Like I've always said, my favorite COD gun of all time is the COD 4 AK-47. Was I just excited and praying for the AK-47 in Modern Warfare 2019? No. Because it wouldn't be the same. It's an AK-47. Exactly. That's what it was. It was an AK-47 that looked, sounded, and felt different. It's like, okay, cool. Exactly. And it was also dog shit, you know?
It was fucking terrible.
You like the guns because of that game. You don't like the guns because you like the guns. That's what you're not understanding. So, whatever. I hope the ACR and intervention are in, though, and they're called that, and I hope they're utter dog shit. Yeah, and these kids mauled day one. Best. But they still keep using them, and then I'm farming them with my M4, my highest amount of kills out of any gun in Modern Warfare 2019, the M4. You know, and I'm just farming them. So anyways, get over it. You're dumb. Yeah. Next up here, Gunfight will be coming to Modern Warfare 2 post-launch. It won't be in the game at launch, cringe, with launch focusing on new modes like Knockout and Prisoner Rescue, which we never talked about. There was info on them. I don't care. There are 2 new modes that aren't exciting. So the good thing to learn about that is Gunfight will be coming back, hopefully sooner rather than later. Gunfight and MW was fun. It was super
fun, especially when they did those little tournaments, which we don't know if they're going to bring back. But Gunfight's also cool early on if you want to learn all the guns and level them all. Like Tanner and I think Gunfight was in at launch. It was in at launch because that was the first beta for MW, I think, or alpha.
Oh, it was, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. So Gunfight was in at launch of MW 2019, and Tanner and I played a fair amount of it even before the tournament shit on launch, and it was cool because you just get a random weapon and shit. So we were leveling like a bunch of different guns a little bit by playing Gunfight. And we were just learning about what guns are in the game and how they perform as well. Mm-hmm. So like we would use like an Odin and be like, oh my God, this thing is super chunky.
Yeah.
I want to try this with my setup once I unlock it and shit, you know? That was a cool aspect too.
Yeah.
So hopefully it does come soon. But Gunfight is a fun mode that is nothing I would ever main, but I would definitely play it. It is fun to do. It's fun for customs and like little community events and tournaments. We could bring back gunfight tournaments. That would be really cool. And when they do the tournaments for unique blueprints, maybe a vault blueprint for a gunfight tournament victory, that would be super cool. I would be really on board with that. So I like Gunfight, even though I don't think it's going to ever be a staple for me or a deal breaker or anything. I like it.
And excellent side mode. Excellent side mode to have.
Really good little
And also,
mode.
since there's no main title in 23, we're probably going to see a lot of drip-fed content that maybe we otherwise would see in at launch. Gunfight's probably one of those. Gunfight will probably launch in like Season 2 or something in 2023, and then maybe they'll start doing tournaments.
But something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, agreed.
So next up, High Rise was in the trailer of MW 2. I don't have the image pulled up to show you linked, but
it doesn't matter.
It's in there. It looks like High Rise. People were pointing that out. So there we go. Cool. And that's supposedly the Warzone map, by the way. And then that map is also going to be in the game, probably. Activision confirmed that starting with Modern Warfare 2, the entire franchise will be using one engine. We already said that. Okay, so the trailer also showcased a small glimpse of the Warzone 2.0 map. At the start of the trailer, essentially, or when it zooms in at one point, and if you pause it, it's the overhead view of the map. That is supposedly the Warzone 2 map. And I will pull it up in a second here to make it larger.
I'm trying to.
And this
copy this image.
We also have a little drawing to. Here, I can do it.
Yeah, you just do it.
Nope, you're right. It's not copying.
Yeah, I don't know why. You can just zoom in on our notes and show it that way.
All right. Whoops. Cool. That fucks it up when I zoom in. All right. There we go. That's working.
So we have pulled up here. It's like a satellite aerial image, obviously, of the Warzone 2.0 map. I'm going to be honest. I cannot make heads or tails of this.
Oh, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Yeah, it looks like it looks very mountainous. It looks very vertical again, which is cringe if true.
Yeah,
cringe
like
if true
the
plus
left
ratio,
side where it's all foggy, that looks like pretty elevated. It looks like the town is in like a basin, which is something we had talked about and speculated.
Yeah.
And other than that, I don't have much to say on this, honestly. It's very hard for me to tell, but maybe one of you can kind of glean something from this that I'm missing.
So then I'll show Tom's little map he designed. So Tom tweeted this yesterday. I've matched the river and road markings 1-to-1 to the actual map I have. I've highlighted the location with a red square. So he's saying right here on the map, here's the little look of the map, Modern City over on kind of the northeast side. He's saying that is this section. That is the Modern City that we're seeing. Okay. So cool. But moving on here to Tom's map, here's what I want to talk about. There's the water. So this body of water, so basically the south end of the map is kind of like Verdansk. It's all water. The ocean, a lake, something large. It's an ocean. It's
that's
not a lake.
That's a lot of square footage that a random last circle could end in, by the way. That's a lot.
And there's a lot of just water with nothing going on. So on one side, over on the west, there's a harbor. Where it looks like there's a docked boat out there. Then there's Shipwreck, that's a POI. There's a fish town, and there's forts, which fort is out in the water. There's it's on its own little peninsula? What is that considered? It's not an island.
We'll call it a peninsula.
We'll call it a peninsula. There's a road or something leading to it, but the fort is surrounded by water other than the one road coming in and out. There's also an airport down at the south of the map along the water. So there is a lot of water, but I mean, I refuse to believe there's ever going to be a circle purposely ending, at least, in the southwest corner of the map in the middle of nowhere. And if that's going to be the case, then why did we take up a bunch of unnecessary space on the Warzone map with water when the circle isn't going to end there anyways? It's one of those things. It's like, why even put the water in when it would be awful for the map to end there? What would I want to play that for? That's what's a little weird. I agree.
Yeah, this is very strange.
And then going through from the ocean, there's a set of rivers that cut through. It goes to the middle of the map and it heads over to the east to where there's a part of the map called marshes. And then that heads up north through the city. So the river runs through the city. We'll call it Chicago. You're more likely to get gunned down in Chicago than in Modern City and Warzone.
That is probably true, yeah.
And then that river continues to lead out to the edge of the map up to the north. So that's where these boats would come into play. Theoretically, you can drive a boat from one side of the map all the way from the north to the south of the map if you go through these rivers. So you can't, because I'll be setting up prox mines all throughout there. So you can't cross through. I mean, get fucked, buddy. But yeah, so there's a little look at the map.
Yeah, based on this map, there's like a giant, as Tanner was explaining, a giant body of water, the ocean, on the southern edge of the map. And about, I would say literally about 30% of the entire playable space on the next Warzone map is water. Is that a fair proportion? What do you think, Tanner?
I was muted. I would definitely say so. Yeah, it's a good portion of the map. It's a good,
That's
at
a
minimum,
lot of
20% of the Warzone map.
At an
closer to
minimum.
30.
Yeah. And so there's a giant, the ocean on the south. There are 2 rivers from the south that connect at the marshes POI. And then there's a river coming from the north that also intersects with the marshes. So on the land, there are 3 rivers that all intersect at a POI called Marshes, which is in the center, but a little bit skewed east. And again, if you watch the podcast, if you're watching the video, you can see we have the image pulled up. If you want to see this image, go to Tom Henderson's Twitter, go to media. You can find it fairly quickly. He drew it. It's a lot of water. We'll see how many circles end toward the south and how much of the water is going to be in them. I don't know, obviously, but I think they will skew it away from doing that because they have the capability to do that, as demonstrated by the fact that no circles end at peak anymore. So they can do that. Maybe they will, and maybe it'll be fine. I don't know, but that's a lot of water.
Yeah.
It's a lot of water.
It's a good amount of water. Maybe you'll have to level up your swimming.
Get your,
Take some swim lessons if you guys need it. Yeah, you're going to be swimming a lot.
Get your fins, get your flippers, get your
don't call them flippers.
Your floaties.
I hate the word flipper, man.
You're not a flipper guy?
It's
not
such
a big flipper guy?
word, yeah.
Yeah, well.
Okay, pretty much last thing to talk about here. So this is Infinity Ward's Pat Kelly and someone else did an interview with Venture Beat, I believe is the name. So Infinity Ward stated that they're proud of how the game looks on last-gen consoles while also pushing the tech for current-gen and PC. That actually probably just about confirms, we're proud of how it looks on old-gen. You're still not getting an FOV slider, though, and then only new-gen
I agree.
They did mention they still want everyone playing together. Last game's debate was K-BAM versus controller, but now it's last-gen versus current. It's not. It's still K-BAM versus controller,
it's still
Charlie.
Both of those things, yeah.
Have you ever played Warzone, Kashav? It's definitely... No one argues last-gen versus current, buddy.
Yeah, that's not even an argument, actually. Obviously, current gen's better.
About.
So, yeah, that's not the debate. So, cool.
Yeah, you dumb fuck.
You dumb bitch, Kashav.
Thanks for the news, Kashav, but that was stupid.
Yeah. Sure.
So, question. This is from the article. This is what they asked Pat Kelly, who is the studio, I believe the studio director at iDub. He's one of the head guys.
I'll look into it.
I think he's under Joe Seacox, I believe.
Joe Apricots.
Yeah. He's under Joe's cock. Okay, so in terms of multiplayer, are the next generation consoles and PC going to have an advantage based on resolution and draw distance? Here's what Pat Kelly says, and I'm very excited to read the last part of this. I wouldn't say there's going to be an advantage. I'd say there are going to be some graphical. There's going to be a fidelity change that is inherent to the machine. But we go to great lengths to make that fairness, player to player, exist across the generations of machines. The last thing we want to see is a scenario. Let me back up, okay? When we did the last game, one of our biggest concerns at the time was players on mouse and keyboard versus players using controllers. Finding the balance on that. It's an interesting thing, really, because I wish it was a linear spectrum. You can see that very highly skilled players on mouse and keyboard is fantastic compared to a controller player. Everyone else on mouse and keyboard seems to be at a disadvantage statistically, is what we see.
Statistically, from a guy who has all of the stats, by the way.
So shut the fuck up. Yes. All of you complaining, no, controller's not better up close, blah, blah, you're just dog shit. No. They literally have stats to prove that. That's what we keep saying. Does K-BAM have a bunch of things that are better at range? Of course. Controller has a clear advantage, and that's close range gunfights, and that's what a lot of fights in Warzone are. Most fights in Warzone where someone ends up getting downed and getting full killed is close range. Statistically, controller is a lot better than K-BAM. So you have to be fucking amazing on K-BAM to compete, is what he's trying to say.
Statistically.
Statistically. and that is the studio director at Infinity Ward,
who has the stats.
And before someone molds, if this becomes a TikTok, if you play on a console with 60 field of view and you have a 0.3 KD, believe me, buddy, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about someone who is amazing at the game, Biffle, Aiden, trying to compete with someone, no, not even them, just the average controller player up close is impossible. I would argue probably the average controller player, they probably have the stats to back this up, with a 0.7 KD, wins more gunfights within 10 meters than a 2.0 KBAM player. I would argue the 0.7 controller player wins the vast majority of those fights. Believe me, I'm above a 2.0 on KBAM, and I don't win any gunfights up close.
Yeah.
So there we go. Confirmed by Infinity Ward. It's over. The argument's over. They just confirmed aim assist statistically is stronger than keyboard and mouse.
Yes, exactly. So again, this is a guy, Pat Kelly. He's a studio head. He has all of the data. Okay. You can see that a very highly skilled player on mouse and keyboard is fantastic compared to controller. Everybody else on a mouse and keyboard, i.e., not highly skilled mouse and keyboard players, but average mouse and keyboard or lower, seems to be at a disadvantage statistically, is what we see. Okay.
They have the data.
So he has the statistics. So this all makes sense. By the way, let me add, who literally said this 2 years ago? This fucking guy. I told you, if you're insane on keyboard and mouse, you're going to be better than, you would rather be on keyboard and mouse than you would be on controller if you're really good at keyboard and mouse. But if you're middling or below that on keyboard and mouse and on controller, you would prefer to be on controller. I said this 2 years ago. This was contentious. It still is contentious, and it's going to continue to be contentious, by the way, even though we literally have the stats on it now. It's going to continue to be some kind of argument somehow, even though the data is out.
Of course, yeah.
The data is out.
Wrong. Yeah.
The data is out. If it is two average players competing against each other, everybody on keyboard and mouse seems to be at a disadvantage statistically, is what we see. Okay. So finally, this debate is done. I'm done debating it. I'm going to point you to the guy who is a studio head at Activision telling you that the statistics line up with what I've been saying for 2 years. Now, so first of all, I'm vindicated and it feels good. Secondly, again, this isn't to say that keyboard and mouse doesn't have advantages, as Tanner pointed out. I'd rather, if I was average on keyboard and mouse, which I am, and average on controller, then I'm not. I'm like 97th percentile. For those of you listening, I have some credibility. If I was average on keyboard and mouse and average on controller, and I was taking a gunfight at 50 meters, I would rather be on keyboard and mouse. I think that advantage is still probably the case. But as Tanner said, a lot of gunfights are very close, especially in multiplayer, obviously. But even in Warzone, that's true too. And so the most interesting thing is that I've been right this whole time. The second most interesting thing, of course, is that Pat Kelly talking about this implies that something is going to happen for MW 2 and Warzone 2 to help this situation. Because I don't understand why he would bring this up if there was no reason to.
Exactly.
Why would you bring this up and then be like, with that said, controllers and aim assist are going to behave exactly the same in the next game as they have been. That would be a weird thing to do. It would be weird. So then the real interesting thing is, what does this mean for aim assist for MW 2? What does it mean for aim assist in Warzone 2? And what ought they do? What they're going to do is one question. What they should do is another question. Now, based on the statistics, as we've learned, and having played against people on controller, and having spoken to good players who play on controller, everyone in these camps agrees aim assist needs to be toned down up close in Call of Duty. Jax, really good controller player, says this. L, good controller player, says this. Lag Show, good controller player, says this. Jake, good controller player, says this. I could keep running down people I know
Warzone
personally.
pros say it too. Half the Warzone pros in the top 20 say it.
People have switched from keyboard and mouse to controller to play on Warzone. Shaded Step, I think, is one of them. This is obvious. Yeah, OP is another one. So again, the question is, do you think, Tanner, that they are going to change how aim assist functions for MW2 and Warzone 2 based on the fact that they've said this? And also, how do you think they'll change it? And how do you think they should change it to make it fair? Because let's be clear, and I will reiterate again, if controller was not allowed to have any aim assist, it would be by far the worst input method, and keyboard and mouse would be undeniably better.
Of course.
And that is obvious to those of us with brains, but some of you listening might be thinking that we want aim assist gone. We don't. Controller needs aim assist. There should be aim assist. I want aim assist in the next game. I just want it to function differently than it does now to allow me an opportunity to compete. So, yeah, Tanner, what are your thoughts? How do you think they'll change it, first of all?
I don't know what they could change, because if they make it a little bit worse up close, I feel like it's a fine line of it being overpowered and then it being just dog shit, and then K-Bam winning all the gunfights up close. I can understand how that is the most difficult thing to balance, is controller with aim assist versus it's nearly impossible to do, which is why up until like 3 years ago, there was never cross input for like any game. It just didn't exist.
Correct.
I don't know what they can do. I would say I'm fine with it at all distances under like 10 meters. I think at 10 meters, it needs to seriously change. And the fact that it behaves, if I'm sprinting past them or sliding past them and then I jump, the fact that it like stays tracking like on my upper chest is also unfair. They like never even hit leg multipliers when I jump over them. What's the point in me even trying to perform some movement action on them to try to break their aim assist when it's just not possible and just sticks to center chest? That's not fair either, because I can't do that. And there's just so many basic kill cams that I watch that I'm like, dude, this average kid tracks me perfectly there. I've been playing keyboard and mouse since 2008, and I can't track that perfectly and hit every shot. It's insane.
No,
and so no.
Yeah. And
it absolutely comes down to needing to change within like 10 meters. It's just broken. You get more aim assist the more the person moves too. So you're better off just coming to a dead stop actually, and then their aim assist isn't going to work as well. It's like, what's the benefit of me even moving at that point? I may as well just stop moving when I come up against a controller player on Rebirth and just stand there and shoot at them, because their aim assist won't be as strong. It's
exactly.
Yeah. I don't know how you balance it, and I don't see what they'll do. If they make it a lot worse, controller players are going to maul and then say they're getting farmed, when statistically they'll probably still be better.
So based on what I don't know either. I have some ideas though, but based on what I've played a little bit of controller lately on Call of Duty. I don't have enough experience playing on controller in Warzone or in MW 2019 or whatever to be the guy to prescribe how aim assist should change. However, based on what I've heard from a lot of people, the real culprit about what makes aim assist too overpowered is something called rotational aim assist, which is exactly what Tanner was talking about, where if you move, if your opponent's moving and you're also moving, you get something called rotational aim assist, which is like pixel perfect tracking when two parties are moving together. That is the most overpowered part of aim assist, and I think that is what needs to be focused on and tuned down a lot to make aim assist balanced. So Jake in chat said, who's played a lot on keyboard and mouse and on controller in Warzone, the fact that the point of aim literally moves by itself with no input is insane. I think that is where true, and I think that's where you start. So if you want to have rotational aim assist, that is fine, but it should require your input. And if you can literally not touch your stick and you still track perfectly, there's something very wrong there, obviously. It should require your input to stay on track. And if I am on a controller and I'm not moving and someone runs past my reticle and my reticle moves, that's a problem. Your reticle shouldn't move unless you move it yourself. And then once you're aiming, then some aim assist kicks in. But your reticle should never, ever move with aim assist if you don't move it yourself. I think that's a great starting point. It should not be the case that I run across your screen while you're AFK and your guy aims his gun a solid inch across your monitor, even though no one's even fucking there touching a stick. This is absurd. So I think what needs to be addressed is rotational aim assist. I don't know exactly how, but that is what needs to be the focus, in my view, to bring these things in line. But it is a difficult problem, and I'm not the guy. But I am very heartened by the fact that Pat Kelly, number one, has finally settled this fucking debate. I'm done arguing about it now. I'll just say, well, if you think aim assist isn't overpowered, the stats and the studio head at Activision disagrees with you based on the stats that he has. So you're just wrong. This debate's over now. Now it's a statement of fact. And this is something we've all known for 2 years, and I've been telling you for 2 years. Yeah. And many people have known. People that are honest know. And if you're really good, you can exploit how strong aim assist is to your advantage. But I'm very heartened by the fact that they're talking about it. And that means maybe something will be done so that it's less of an insane advantage. That would be good. And the fact that they're talking about it implies something will be different with aim assist next year, which is going to be really nice.
A few things here. Number one, there's going to be someone that's going to listen to this and say, no, controller's still harder. You guys are just wrong. Again, it comes down to this. Literally 1 out of the top 20 overall earners in Warzone of all time are on KBAM. Literally 1. And that's Huskers. There's no one else in the top 20 that plays on KBAM. And something else. These guys like Aiden, Mutex, I've watched a lot of these guys play on KBAM. They're fucking cracked on KBAM too. They know, and a lot of them admit, Mutex especially says it all the time. He's like, holy shit, aim assist is busted. They purposely, obviously, play on controller because they know it's a lot better for them. And I know someone's also going to say, well, why don't you guys switch to controller? So I shouldn't have to. Again, I've been playing on KBAM for 14 years. I don't want to switch. That's what I've always played shooters on. Always. It's dumb that I should ever have to switch or feel the need to switch because I'm getting farmed when all the engagements are up close, and that's all everything is. And also, obviously, top controller players are insane. We're not taking anything away from them. What Biffle, Aiden, Tommy, Super Evan, all those guys do, I can never be as good as them on any input method, no matter what. You can't give me a controller. I'm not saying I can be as good as them. They're fucking cracked out of their minds. They're also insane on KBAM. They're just good gamers. They stick to controller because they know it's that much better at Warzone. That's another point. That's me saying the good players know it's better. It's always the below average player saying, no, it's not as good. It's because you're not good at video games. Sorry, hate to break it to you. You're not good. One of my That's why. Comments. You're just not good at the game. Yes, they are, and they understand it. People that are better understand. Same thing with people that are low KD, always saying, I hear people fine. No, you don't. You're just not good at the game, and you can't comprehend that you're not hearing footsteps and dying in the ways that you are because you're bad at the game. Sorry, you're bad at the video game. It's not the end of the world. It's a video game. You're just bad. Admit it. My biggest thing with it is no reaction needed when someone runs around a corner. There's not a time that I mauled more than I've come flying around a corner. There's someone pre-aimed at the door, and it tracks me perfectly as I fly through. You do not understand. There is a 0 millisecond reaction time needed for that. Your aim assist starts tracking that. What do I have to do on KBAM when a game has no audio? Someone busts through a door with Deady popped. Or just, not even Deady. Rebirth doesn't have audio, as we learned yesterday. Someone busts through a door. By the time I get audio and can react, even if I'm pre-aimed, I'm at like half health because they're going to roll through there and start shooting at me, and I'm dead. Controller, you pre-aim at the door, you come around the corner, 0 milliseconds reaction time needed. You're already tracking. All you have to do is press down on the trigger and you start doing damage to that person.
Yep.
There's a clip of Super Evan doing this in a tournament against pro players. Again, not taking anything away. The guy's insane. He gets like a 1v3 against these guys. They fucking blow through the door, slide about 12 feet into the room. He does not miss a fucking shot. And yes, he's a skilled player. 0 reaction time needed. They come busting through. It's tracking them the entire way. He doesn't miss a shot. He moves. The next guy comes through. That guy jumps. His aim goes from at that guy's ball sack to sticking on his upper chest and tracking him as that guy jumps through the air. It's an insane clip. I couldn't do it on any input, but I'm just saying, you have to understand, if you don't play on KBAM, that's what you don't get, is there is KBAM. 0 reaction time needed to do that. The best KBAM player in the world cannot react that fast. It is statistically impossible. There is no reaction needed for your aim assist to start taking place. And that's the number one issue, in my opinion, is how you can just fly around a corner and someone's already tracking you before they can even comprehend and realize that someone's on their screen. Their aim has already been tracking you the entire time. And that's broken and absurd and should not be in the game.
Yes.
How do you balance it? Pretty simple. Tone down. Like, I think what Jake is saying is a fantastic start. Yeah, because that would at least require you to be able to react versus someone coming through a door and the aim assist sticking no matter what. You should be required to start turning your stick to the left and react to that person at least before that starts taking into play. Because you should have to react to someone before your aim's already on there. I mean, that's insane to comprehend. Like, a lot of these clips literally look like aimbot to me, and controller players think that's a normal clip. I'm like, dude, that looks like KBAM aimbot, and you don't understand that because you can't comprehend that, but that looks like what aim lock looks like when you're cheating. It's insane.
Yeah.
So anyways, stay mad. Someone's going to be mad at this no matter what. Statistically, it's better. They just confirmed it. Obviously, you know, not at all distances. Again, KBAM has a lot of things that are better than being on a controller, but almost all fights and deaths come down to close range on Warzone and in multiplayer, and controller is statistically a lot better.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think the big thing is like your reticle should not move unless you're moving it yourself. Like you should have aim assist, but
you need to start the aim.
A door. Yes, exactly. Yeah. My reticle should never move without me moving it myself first. I have to be the first mover. If you just started there, that would be a great way to balance aim assist. It would be a great way.
Yeah. Yep. And, you know,
that's literally all they did. In fact, I would be like really happy with
that's what pisses me off most is not having a reaction time. You literally don't have to have a reaction time. If you know to pre-aim a door, there's no reaction needed. That's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
It's literally
and it negates movement. Movement doesn't matter. Me sliding through or dolphin diving through or jumping through doesn't matter.
And again, we've said this a lot in the program, but all of the best controller players in the world want aim assist to be nerfed. A lot of them have made that clear. I already brought up Mutex. He's a big one. He always says like, holy shit, aim assist is so busted. And he like will tell you like, it's so good that it lowers the skill gap drastically of good controller players.
Between two controller players, exactly. So Mutex, who can aim super well with his stick, and dipshit McGee fuck, who can't aim at all, they get equal efficiency in a lot of these gunfights with respect to aim because the aim assist is so strong. But if you make aim assist less strong, that creates a wider skill gap between two controller players, depending on which controller player can aim better than another controller player. So this would be good for controller players as well, because it would implement an actual skill gap between controller players. And most of the people you're fighting, whether you're on controller or not, are also people on controller.
Yeah.
So you should want this.
Exactly. And, you know, I've learned from TikTok, there are some very bad players out there. Gat Granny, shout out to Gat Granny. I mean, she's not a good player, but it's like, she's like 70 years old. That's fine. I'm just pointing out, she knows she's not a good player. It's like, people like that,
you should never lose to.
Well, she plays on KBAM anyways, which is also why she can't hit anything, of course. But she's a bad example. But if she was on controller and the aim assist wasn't as strong, it really wouldn't matter since skill-based matchmaking is a thing. She's only playing against people that also have a 0.4 KD. And then there's, you know, people VPNing, of course, that are just destroying her, but VPNs don't work. And so she's playing against people that are also dog shit. So if aim assist was just worse for all of them, it would balance out anyways, because they're playing against themselves. They're in a protected lobby.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. But yeah, that's we just had to bring that up. So
thanks Jake for sending that to us,
matters.
By the way.
Say again?
I said thanks Jake for sending that to us. I wouldn't have seen that.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have seen this either. So good for you, Jake. Thanks. The most important point from this, other than of course I was right and I told you so, is that it implies there's going to be something different with aim assist next year. At least that is what would make the most sense, because why else would you bring this up? So we will definitely report back. We'll have a poll for our controller users in the community and see, is aim assist any different in MW2 and Warzone 2? And we'll let you guys know. So other than that, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. We are done. Hope you enjoyed this marathon ep. Very excited. It's the season now, ladies and gentlemen. It is the season of a new, fun and exciting Call of Duty game, and double the excitement because we're getting Warzone 2, which is fantastic. So I am very, very much looking forward to the next couple months. Podcast episodes are going to be on fire until Warzone 2 comes out and for some time afterward. We're going to get exciting shit almost weekly, I would imagine, from now until launch. So this is going to be a really good season to be a listener. And if you want more of it, patreon.com/thedropshot, 7 bonus episodes per month. It's the best way to support the show. If you wanted more of the Dropshot content, check us out on Patreon. That's the best way to do it for us and for you. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. Have an excellent evening, of course. And as always, remember, stay humble.
Stay humble.